To these messages.
We'll be
Commercials. Finance.
Commercial time.
Industry. Technical. Amazement. I've got no game there. Sorry. I actually am trying to research a sort of like 1930s, 1950s, voice for reasons.
I will send you data and
You should
details.
watch the
Devillo. That is.
episode recaps for The Legend of Korra. They do it quite well.
Ooh.
I actually
Yes.
have some references, Devillo, for how to do it.
I
Thank
would
you,
also
man.
And
recommend.
you too
I
can
would-
become a captain of industry.
I would also recommend the Billy West podcast.
Okay. Anybody who has some links, drop them in just slip on into my DMs. You're all welcome there anytime, and just fill them up. We start early. Okay. I assume all the messages and all the advertisements are complete, and we can begin the game properly. Is that correct? Delightful. So, when last we left off, the party spent 2 of the 4 days they have to prepare fairly busy. Ang, the Tabaxi monk, was doing a bit of worship, a little bit of meditation, earning a fair bit of coin for himself in the temple, and getting quite a bit of exercise in. We also had Jurnis and Graz do a little bit of... Refresh my memory, actually. What were Jurnis and Graz doing? I remember, like, on the first day after Mazina's attack, they were... What were they doing? The DM has blanked.
Lessons from Icky and talked to him for a bit. And then the second day she went and got herself some healing supplies. And got somehow allowed herself to be talked into allowing the cow to touch her lute.
Oh yes, so it was revealed that Dot Merivale is actually a gifted enchanter. More specifically, she's an artificer. And she has been helping Jurnis with a few things. She also offered a little bit of advice to Seedie. Seedie has been keeping an eye on Madam, I nearly called her Professor Cleus again, Lady Gosling. She who hired both Seedie and Tahu to spy on the party, do somewhat nefarious things on the Delve. She was basically trying to break into the office, which she did very, very skillfully. However, she didn't really have the right tools to get into the sealed desk of Lady Gosling without causing some very bad things to happen. But you have a few ideas about how to get in there. However, you then changed tactics and you began to work on a truth serum for your Kenku ally, Mr. Tahu. Mr. Tahu was busying himself over the past few days trying to educate himself on these mysterious entities that have been lurking around the edge of the party's influence. The words Senja, Kahaya, and also the rubbing of the celestial sword that Sir Icrius wields. The true rubbing, not the basic illusion that most people can see. That has been sent to Lady Gosling, who incidentally does know absolutely everything involving Sir Icrius being a seraph and probably all your other secrets as well. Not that any of you know that yet.
She has intimate knowledge.
She has some intimate knowledge of your party now. And I believe Skullface and Icarus were working on some holy ammunition before Icarus didn't show up for the second day. And Graz and Seedie have discovered a note from Sir Icrius explaining that he has decided not to wait any further, and he has gone down into the depths without you. Graz confronted Seedie in regards to her suspicions about the party from the August Sanctum. And so, after a very high Nat 20 persuasion roll, Seedie explained that she and Tahu are not allies, that she is not working with him in the way that Graz thinks. And the two of you, I believe, were planning to do a little bit of creative investigating in Tahu's room. So before we go over to that scene, we are going to find ourselves in the alchemy section of Dot's Tavern. And Dot, you are currently putting the finishing touches to a truth serum that your new friend Seedie is working on.
Well, I wouldn't know that I would call it that Seedie was working on it. There's so much to change and improve. I might as well make my own batch, but I can work with this if I really focus. Let's see what we can do, shall we?
I'd like you to give me an Arcana check with advantage.
Yes.
Okay, 18. Yeah, you're able to. It's going to take you another few minutes to wrap things up, but you think that you've been able to save this potion from the worst fate of all, being average and boring.
I don't understand why you're wording it that way. The keyword I believe you were looking for, Dungeon Master, is mediocrity.
Mediocrity, indeed.
Oh. And
Now, this is going to be one of the finest potions you've made yet.
Yes, filtered for extra clarity. The truth will be very much locked into. Avoid the nuance that is possible with some lesser truth potions. And she's going to wrap it up, and she's going to head to Seedie's room and drop it off with a little note and the appropriate decorative flair. And then she's going to walk off, humming to herself rather happily.
Okay. I would say it's about this point that Jurnis and Skullface are going to head back from their trip to the Golden Maiden. Now, please forgive the DM for his goldfish memory. Was Ang following them, or was Ang staying back at the temple?
Well, if Ang can walk properly after his adventures.
I was praising my lord. No. Following who again?
Basically, did you come to Dot's Tavern with Jurnis and Skullface?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd say the three of you are currently downstairs, while Seedie and Graz are upstairs doing their own thing. Is there anything? Are you guys looking for anybody?
It's the evening now, yeah?
It is. This is getting close to the evening. Yes.
Is Skullface still very pale and pissed off?
Give me an insight with advantage, because I'm assuming Skullface isn't hiding his feelings right now.
Never mind. The dice hate Jurnis tonight.
Might as well get him out of your system early.
She'll just ask straight up then. Skullface, you feeling a little better? Or are you still clutching your gun under your waistcoat?
Do we have a Sephi?
So happy.
Oh god, he's
Seth?
giving me the same treatment.
I think
think
Seth is
he
not
dropped
actually in the
out.
chat. Technical difficulties.
This is reminding
Yeah.
me of the time I bought a DVD of an anime and it froze on a screen when someone asked another character, "Are you okay?" And I just thought it was a really long dramatic pause, and then it went on for like 30, 40 seconds. I felt really embarrassed afterwards. I realized that it locked up.
I think
Oh,
he's a
God.
little distracted. Aang, has there been any instances of strange apparitions happening in your place of worship?
Give me a history check, please, Hank.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Open the sheet. And fuck you, there's no put drop out or hop out option.
I know, that is one of the downsides of the Foundry, especially when it's in the browser. 17, yes. Well, here's the thing. You do live in Cusvel Grim. The ghosts know to not bother the customers, but it's not unheard of for, one of the spectres to kind of poke their head through a wall at an inopportune moment just for a laugh. But other than that, with a 17, I will say it's been happening all over the city, so it's not really something that you've really paid much attention to. But over the past week or so, you do seem to be having slightly less customers than you usually would. Having Lady Eliath show up was a big boost. She brought a whole bunch of people with her. But since she seems to have moved to a different location, you're not sure where, you are noticing that there's not as many people in the Golden Maiden as there have in the past. A few regulars that have been there for quite some time. Because to clarify, Ang has been living in the city for, we said, about half a year, close to a year. Was that correct?
So yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. So some of the regulars, it's one of those things where you don't notice it at the time, but you think back and it's like, yeah, 1 or 2 regulars. They haven't shown up for a little bit.
Dennis, could you do me a favour? Could you kick me out of the game?
Kick you out of the game?
Yeah, I can't log back in.
Okay. I'm not actually seeing you in the game right now, so that might have fixed itself.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Technology is a wonderful thing when it fucking works. Oh yeah, that's the basic info that you have, Ang.
And I will relay that to Jurnis.
Yes, but have any of them intentionally tried to scare some of your patrons, by creating illusions or anything?
Not to your knowledge. That is, any kind of spell casting on grounds is a bannable offense. You would be kicked out and your membership permanently revoked.
Yes, not that I'm aware of. Most of the time, those trolls get kicked out and banned.
Scully
Attempting to.
Scully seemed to see something that made his blood run cold. But he didn't really tell me what it was. He did seem rather pissed off after it, though. Well, we'll keep an eye on him.
We should keep an eye on all of us if we got starting to get things like that happening.
You're not wrong. There is some very weird shit going on, and I feel like it is all connected to that place down below.
Well, hopefully we'll fix that fairly soon here.
Yes, that's actually something we do need to consider. One of the reasons we went to get you is because we wanted to have a group meeting. We should probably go check and see if the others are around.
idea. Let's go.
Okay, so the three of you head upstairs. While that's going on, I would say Seedie and Graz. Let's get over to our bedroom scene. Not that kind of bedroom scene. And here we are. So, you're currently in, I would say you're just outside Tahu's room at Dot's Tavern. The rooms are locked for privacy's sake. So, Graz is going to look to you, CD, and say, all right, then, show me how it's done.
What do you mean? You want me to try the lock?
Yes.
Just going to very quickly say,
What do I roll for lock picking, by the way?
That's going to be a
Sleight of
slight of...
hand.
It's going
Sorry,
to be
sorry.
It's okay, you're right.
Just going to say before we get to you, apologies, I had to do a quick restart. I did say, but for some reason my laptop didn't let it go through. So apologies for freaking people out.
Not a problem, not a problem. But yes, it's usually it's a sleight of hand. You add your proficiency bonus on top of that if you're using thieves' tools. So with a 27, yeah. Door opens very easily. Oh my! I've seen better. That I've seen worse. And Graz heads in ahead of you.
Not bloody likely.
So, this is a very good question for Cream. Dog, where have you been these past 2 days?
Like, I didn't lock dog in the room. I assume I would have not locked dog in the room.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Well,
Yeah,
dog wanted to
geez.
That
just
would be
stay in
no.
the
That's
room.
that would be an instant kill from the DM. But yeah, so Fallon, given the fact that you have a new tavern, I would assume that Fallon has full reign of the tavern. Would
What
that be
did you ask?
fair?
Dot?
Yeah, this is So would Dot allow the party's dog full reign of the tavern? Is Dot's pet friendly?
Dots is actually, funnily enough, something I was talking to Dog's player about was that Dog would be given supervision. Dog has a handler who checks on. I had established previously when they first came into the tavern. One of the people on care duty, Dot is filling in cleaning a lot because one of the people on care duty for cleaning is actually Dog's handler to make sure Dog gets properly walked. Other things, unless someone objected, that's what she would do because she want to make sure Dog has plenty of comfort.
Okay.
So she's treating the dog like a guest.
Okay. So Dog is basically in a different location at the moment with their handler.
Yes, we can have it be the turtle that was
Yes.
down there before.
Yeah, I guess I would say Dog's just chilling.
Chilling like a not villain, honest. But yeah, so
There are no
CD,
villains here.
CD and Graz are both going to make investigation checks. I will make the one for Graz. Okay. So, I would say you both spend a good 5 to 10 minutes turning over the room. Cream, how would you describe Tahu's room? How does he keep it?
As clean as the housekeeping would.
Would you say suspiciously clean? Does it actually feel like someone lives here or sleeps here?
Like, with a good enough investigation, I would say, like, yes, you notice that the bed sheets are not perfect. And has somebody been slept on them, as in, like, the imprint of the pillow is still, like, there, but there's nothing else in the room.
Yeah. I'd say a good 5 to 10 minutes of that. Graz is just going to look frustrated over to Seedie. Well, I've got nothing. What about you?
Zilch show.
Shit. Right. We probably want to get out of here before we get discovered, because that would be awkward. I would say this is about the point when Jurnis and the rest of the group would be walking past this slightly open door and would see you guys in there. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
If you wish to make sure that door is closed so they don't see you, give me a stealth check.
She's just gonna turn to Graz and be like, I think it's about time we let the others know, right?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Let's just hope Tahu isn't among them right now.
Give me a D100, please, Seedie.
So close. So close to a
Okay.
69.
Yes. Okay.
Nice.
I will say this. Let me just get the relevant tokens. Because I'm doing a little bit of jiggery pokery. Now, Dot, you said you were looking for the rest of the group as well.
She was humming to herself with satisfaction over a job well done, and she went to Seedie's room, unlocked the door, didn't search anything, dropped off the bottle with the accoutrements, and then proceeded to head back to try to track down the group.
Okay. I would say you would notice that Jurnis, Ang, and Skullface are just standing in the doorway of Tahu's room. And as you come around the corner, you see that Seedie and Graz are already in. And they are basically just starting a conversation.
Graz, why do you have a guilty look on your face?
Oh, is Tahu in? Mindful look to Seedie.
Not right now, Dot. He appears
Oh.
to be out.
Oh dear.
He's not with you, is she?
Did Tahu leave his door open?
Yes, as a matter of fact. I was just looking for him.
I am going to roll an insight because
on that.
yeah.
Should I roll a deception?
Whoops. I'm trying to do
You
it.
may roll a deception if you wish.
Sorry, everybody. I'm trying. Okay.
Well, actually, I don't think there's any point in rolling a deception because she's going to spill the beans.
What flavor?
The like barbecue sauce one.
Barbecue?
Heck yes.
What did you roll?
I didn't roll anything because I don't see the point because I'm gonna spill the beans.
And so yeah, Dot is like
Beans?
an open door. You need to be more careful, especially with the work you're all doing. An open door, even in a safe establishment such as mine, can lead to interlopers. Staring at Seedie. Seedie's already inside, so she's chatting with Seedie first.
Well, everyone, I should come clean as soon as possible.
I find clean is best, yes.
I have been working with the Arrocakkra. That much you already know. Recently I have been given orders I do not agree with. But I know for certain that Tahu is following these exact orders to the letter, though he appears to be intending to.
Can I stop you right there? Not to derail, but there's an important thing that Dot would need to get out in character very quickly. Do I know that Seedie was the one who broke in, or that Seedie was lying about the door being left open, or what?
It's fairly obvious that she's broken in to do some investigation. With that 18 on the insight, you can put that together.
Yeah, then she would interrupt at that point and say, but it seems like you are focused from this point forward, on doing the right thing, yes?
Of course.
Very good. Then we have an understanding. Do continue.
If we are going to have this conversation relating to Tahu, perhaps it is best not to conduct it in Tahu's bedroom. Unless you have something to show us in here, we should probably move in case they come
back to the meeting room, perhaps?
How about someplace secure? My room, perhaps?
The meeting room is secure.
Very well.
Your room would be secure as well, if you prefer, but the meeting room has more accommodations for group discussion.
Is that a place that Tahu is likely to wander in on, though?
Not if I don't wish it.
You're full of surprises.
It's a very oddly specific way to phrase that.
Who, Seedie or Dot?
Dot.
Yeah. What can she do?
You can do many things.
can do
The
many
DM,
things.
however, is having difficulty copying and pasting all of those tokens. So, bear with me a moment.
We can just pretend.
Theater of the mind, I know, but still. So let's just say you guys are now in the private meeting room, and yes, I know some people's tokens aren't on screen. Just work with me. You just talk away. Just talk away.
Yes. We should be unobserved here. And she shuts the door, and I'm going to send something to... I asked about before, GM, but I didn't get a reply in the rush of other things. I know you were busy.
Yes, bear with me a moment. So it's if you send it as a private message through Foundry,
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
that would help.
Okay.
I've
been meaning to tell you. I've been meaning to tell everyone about what I know as soon as possible, but I couldn't with Tahu being the living recording device that he is.
Is that acceptable, GM?
100%.
That's what I thought. So she says she shuts the door. Now, am I correct in assuming that I should mention that because it works both ways?
Yes.
That as Dot shuts the door, the outside noise of the everyday, hotel, the everyday inn goes away, and it's remarkably quiet in this room. Noticeably that the outside world seems to be shut out. And Dot sits down and says, sorry, go ahead.
Dot, I can hear myself think.
How lovely. What are you saying to yourself, my dear?
Am I doing the right thing?
I'm just going to say Dennis sent you a message.
So then, what precisely have you two been up to?
Yes, what are these orders?
Well, something alarming, really. I'm gonna, DM, I'm gonna have to have a little help recalling everything that...
Yeah, the general gist was there are, and to be fair, the DM doesn't remember who got what exactly, but the general flavour is that because of whatever quote-unquote Master K said in regards to Jurnis, he wants to ensure that Jurnis is protected and taken care of. However, any members of the Siren Charter Magical College or anyone who is looking to gain access to the ruins of Neliol for their own purposes needs to have an accident. Professor, I keep calling her Professor Cleus. Lady Gosling, it's because they're both halflings. Lady Gosling wants what's down there for herself. She hasn't really said that, but that is the general, implication that she's given.
Oh, Lady Gosling. I mean, do you report that to us?
I'm just gonna say that's all conveyed.
Yeah.
I don't think I can like.
And you guys, I wouldn't even make you roll an insight on this. When she says, "Oh, Lady Gosling," there is just contempt coming. She's aware of Lady Gosling, and she says, "Oh, we'll have to do something about that, won't we?"
And
Well,
what is Smite's position on this?
To say again, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Jasper.
What you know about Jasper's not really an individual you've spoken to directly. You've just heard it as a name mentioned around. You know he's supposed to be Tahu's boss, maybe? He's supposed to be head of the groundskeepers. Which is a very innocent term for the people who do most of the grunt work around the grounds. Help disappear bodies, that kind of thing. You don't really know what his position is.
Well, I did hesitate to call him an ally. Well, he's not a friend, but he was a tentative ally for a while. Do you think that Tahu is working against the Ordo Sanctum's instructions entirely, or taking orders from someone else within the Sanctum?
From what I can tell, he's following Gosling's orders to the letter. Though something else had alarmed me quite a lot after Graz brought it to my attention earlier.
Yeah, Graz basically brings you all up to speed on the whole thing with Tahu deliberately avoiding damage to Mazina.
Oh dear.
Yes, this freaked me the hell out.
Why would
I have a solution to get as much information from him as we can.
that sounds
Dot,
like a good idea?
Dot is already aware that I was working on a truth potion that I assume you finished already, right?
Yes, I was finishing up your truth potion. Yes, though I didn't have to do much. I just had to make a few tweaks here and there. And I will point to the roll.
Mm-hmm. What is it you are deceiving? If you'd like to clarify that, because technically you did finish the potion.
That she didn't have to do much, and the reality is she's trying not to hurt Seedie's feelings because she believes the potion was hot garbage.
At this point, I think Seedie is aware you are good at this sort of thing, considering the shit you have.
She's trying to be nice about how bad she thought it was. It's like basically the deception is, no, sweetie, this is the best art I've ever seen. I'm going to put it on the fridge right now.
Oh, that's a bit condescending.
Yeah,
that is this character.
Yeah, that's Dot. I'm sorry, but she's like,
you know what?
She's like, it was a great potion, Seedie. Yes, it was.
I want to inside that so I can tell if Seedie will be offended.
Yeah, you really. Wow, that was quite a compliment from a master craftsman woman.
Seedie beams with pride.
Yes, good. And Dot's, to be fair, it should, Dot is being sincere about not wanting to hurt Seedie's feelings for reasons, and she is invested in the compliment coming across as genuine. So it's not actually that she's trying to be condescending. She's hiding the truth from someone she doesn't want to hurt their feelings.
Right.
But go ahead.
Now here's the question. How do we confront Tahu, and how do we administer the truth potion to him?
Who is the commoner and why are they BRB?
I'm curious about that too. How did you Yeah.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Identify yourself, criminal scum.
Oh. I'm no one special. You can call me the commoner.
Dot, did you notice that one of your cleaning people are behind the curtains?
Lexi, please. This is a private session.
The turtle, awkwardly takes dog with them.
I thought this was the restroom for dogs.
Rollface just places Letitia on the table. Perfect way to make sure he takes that potion.
She says, I propose.
Literally,
She says,
hold a gun to
I
his head, huh?
propose I jam this
"Mm,
against the most sensitive part of his body, threaten to pull the trigger until he takes it.
I have a different suggestion.
Or we could, offer him a drink. Tahu has accepted
Or-
drinks off me before.
Or, while you bring him here, we can share a group meeting and I can prepare some cookies.
That is also true. We do actually need to have a group meeting. Aside from this one. Regards
She
to
says she...
Nelia.
Sorry.
We need to feign a subject. Otherwise, we'll be staring at each other awkwardly, waiting for him to eat.
Well, I think the fact that Icrius is fucked off is a bit of a subject.
Yes.
Fair point.
We need to discuss if we're going to delay our trip to go down with the rest of the traveling party, or if we're going to go on ahead and try and stop Sir Icrius getting himself killed.
Exactly, and that's what I'm suggesting. But I'm afraid, Miss Jurnis, you may have missed my point.
I know quite well that you were intending to put the truth serum in the cookies and feed him a tainted cookie.
Well, I was going to make the cookies just simply make him sleepy and suggestible so that you could administer the truth potion. To be fair, putting a truth potion into cookies will dilute it somewhat. You would have to eat a truth potion worth of cookies with that ingredient. That would take some doing.
We just wrestle him to the ground and force him to drink that bloody thing.
I don't recommend it because here's the Mr. Skullface. I would not recommend that because you see, something you may not be aware of is that your group is very loud. Your group is very public. That's not always the best idea. Especially since sorry.
Before, has Tahu accepted a drink from Jurnis's flask when she's handed it to him?
You've never handed me one before yet.
I'm pretty sure I did.
The only person who's ever actually handed me a drink is Icrius.
Damn, I could have swore I had. Alright, never mind, there goes that idea.
But what she's going to say is, Dot was going to say, to continue, the suggestion I have is that, you see, I have been very attentive to your group, and I've noticed this. You never know, especially for people who are trying to arrange accidents, when there can be methods of listening in, methods of interception, methods of provocation. There can be all kinds of things. So I recommend we get him here, put him in a mood, let him be the one who decides to tell us. I mean, we're not going to discuss the truth serum. And she says, I can make him suggestible with the cookies. We can get him in a good mood very quickly. I work fast. And we can then administer the truth serum, and that will be that. And then whatever, if there's someone listening in on the conversation, they can hear us having a conversation in which Tahu decides, for whatever reason, to reveal the reality of the situation. If someone's listening in, that puts the onus on Tahu. Not that I have much experience with this sort of thing, but that just seems common sense to me.
Fine, go with that. But plan B, we go with Letitia.
Yes.
While
Physical violence is often plan B for many.
While Skullface is talking about Letitia, do you want to basically, with that nat 1 in deception, that beautiful nat 1, what exactly is Dot not saying?
That she does not have any experience with manipulating people. Yeah, she's a manipulative. She's full of cow pie. She's a manipulative lady.
I believe you've been manipulating us from the very start, wanting us to think of you in a certain way. Not that I'm saying you're being malicious, but you want to convey a certain thing about yourself that may not be true.
I'm a lady of society, of course I do.
Oh, dang it.
Totally
Damn!
right. A performer sees another performer.
Meets it beats it.
Yeah, she says she's being coy.
I
She's being coy.
I will say this. I will say this. The rule says meets it, beats it. However, double nat 20s versus the
right.
16. That's the only time I would say meets it, does not beat it.
Yeah,
She's
that's fair.
admitting
Okay.
that she's full of shit, and she's
He,
saying, "Yeah, of course."
Seedie just gives her like a fry, not sure if look.
Mm-hmm.
Dot just looks back and nods with a little tip of her head, like, yes, that's very true, yes. I do not refute your insight, Seedie. Smile. She's happy. But anyway, I should get to baking, unless anyone disagrees with my plan, I should get to baking the cookies. I'm also going to work up a possible letter to Lady Gosling, but I'm not going to do anything about that. We'll discuss that once we know more details.
To be fair, it sounds like Lady Gosling is not someone we want to fuck with or draw attention to ourselves to.
It reminds me.
Oh, hi,
So, you may have noticed I've been missing for a few days. Or rather, quiet. Earlier today, I actually broke into Lady Gosling's room.
Oh my! Impressed.
To find information, find incriminating information on Tahu's mission. Though I couldn't get into her desk. Rather, I didn't want to risk trying it because I found these symbols on her desk. And she lays out the symbols she wrote down.
Does Jurnis recognize these at all?
And does Dot?
That's a question that okay. That's a question. Okay. Graz's language, she unfortunately does not know Draconic. However, Dot, I will say this on your character sheet, that was an oversight, which will be fixed later. In fact, the DM is going to type it in right now.
Yes, because we talked about that.
Yes, Dot indeed recognizes these as Draconic runes. These are basically they're a glyph of warding. They would basically do a great deal of damage if they were broken by somebody who doesn't know the correct phrase to open them.
And Dot conveys that, oh dear, well, it's a good thing you didn't muck about with these. These are glyphs of warding and Draconic.
I know better than to mess with Gosling's magic.
And they run deep. These would have very much done you harm if you had proceeded. And Dot is like very serious.
worth of harm.
And she says, I would say that that's not an option. I wouldn't continue with it. Did you find anything else of use?
Did she take up that? What was the other thing?
There was a sheet,
the letter,
which basically listed all the people that were going to be on this delve. It listed the two Veril guides, Gil and Dill. It listed Jasper. It listed 2 question marks from the Siren Charter, and it listed all of you guys.
I know I didn't say this last time, but would you be willing to allow me to have retroactively copied that information down?
Okay, because so you didn't take the only copy with you. I would go. Okay, the DM will allow this because that would have made things interesting. Yeah, that would have made things very interesting. But sure, though, yeah, you've got a list of that, and also the name of this little document was called Operation Clean House. read into that as you will.
Yeah. Ooh, cleaning house, accidents. Oh dear. Lady Gosling has been very aggressive. Much more than usual, I would imagine. Well, no, that's not exactly true. She's usually aggressive, just
She came off
so
as
distasteful.
She came off as power hungry to me.
Absolutely. She is a woman I don't want to go into any OOC stuff, but I do want to just confirm something with you.
Dot. Yeah, you type what it is you want to say. Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes, you definitely know this.
She says, yes, Lady Gosling is a weapons collector. A power collector. Would-be power broker. And she is a collector of aggressive artifacts.
I knew she was full of shit.
We need
When
to keep
she
her
said-
away from the things down in that place.
Yes. She said
And
she kind of implied that you would want to share the knowledge down there. But it's bloody clear that she wants to keep hoarding this knowledge and these artifacts for herself.
yes, I
Also,
shall have to compose her a letter depending on what Tahu says. I'll go over it with all of you, don't worry.
She may know one of us has betrayed her.
I'm sure she does.
If you write that letter.
Yes. Tahu?
Perhaps not drawing her attention to us any further is a good idea. Giving
Let
her
me
a
write
hint
it and see
that
what you
we are
think.
aware of her eyes on us is a terrible idea.
Perhaps not as terrible as you think, but we'll talk about that later.
Before I forget, Lady Gosling also provided myself and Tahu with an ancient artifact of sorts. I have no idea what she gave Tahu, but I'm assuming it's something similar to mine. So she
Oh
takes
dear.
out her. Seedie takes out her motion detector.
Let me just bring up the item again so we can.
Not to keep putting it back to Dot, but would that be familiar to Dot, given
Give me a
things?
history check or an arcana check, whichever is higher.
Yes.
Whichever number is higher, roll it. I'd say with advantage a 12. You haven't seen this exact item before, but it does put you in mind of
Yes.
a broken piece of something you would have seen on your travels.
Yes. Ooh. Oh, this is bad.
This leads me to another thing.
Oh dear.
I don't wish to deceive you, but so there are many strange things going on in the city. For example, on my search for a means to get the information out of Tahu, I found my way to a black markets person, and he happened to sell me this little device. She's going to present the ray gun.
Okay. Dot Skullface. I would like both of you to give me intelligence checks, please.
Okay, 1 second. So,
Yeah, I misspelled it in there. I'm sorry. Dot was powdering her nose, like very like with her compact, a rather large compact, and then the ray gun gets put down, and she just goes poof, poof, poof. So she's got like white, powdery tan goop all over her nose now, and she's just staring.
Face is distracted.
What am I roll? Oh, what am I rolling?
Just intelligence, just a straight intelligence.
I think I'm hitting the right button. Sorry if I'm not.
Didn't you say this looks like one of your weapons, Skullface? Just different somehow?
Can I suggest? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And the wool can't be pulled over my eyes. The display at the back, the numerals, they're in common. So they are... This device must be recently made, I'm assuming.
Logic would say that's the number of shots you got left.
Skullface, as you look over this weapon, and actually, yeah, I would say as you're looking over the weapon, the way that Seedie is described, the interests of Lady Gosling, this ancient, long lost magic tech, whatever you want to call it. This is definitely mechanical in nature, although it's not a nature you are familiar with. The alloy seems a little strange. The weight is in parts it's light, but you can almost feel there's an internal weight in certain areas that gives it a certain heft. This doesn't feel like a kid's toy. This feels like a tool. This feels like a weapon. Dot, with 1 point more. Well, actually, yeah, with 1 point more, I would say, Dot, you would definitely be able to place the fact that this is a recent production. This is manufactured in some way. However, you being an artificer, you being someone who actually can create devices of your own, you're not exactly certain how this has been crafted, and you know your onions. You know how to craft. Though a lot of your stuff is centered around food, mechanical construction is not something that you are ignorant to in any stretch.
Because
This
she
is
makes tools out of food, things.
exactly.
Like she makes utensils
hmm
and
This
cooking
is
devices.
odd. Yeah,
And
you
she
are not
says,
certain.
she looks it over and she relates that information back, saying, it's definitely some kind of weapon. It's manufactured, but using a method I've never seen.
And
The
that's not all.
detailing, sorry, and it's recent, you're right.
And that's not all, Dot. She takes up the laser gun. May I, Dot? And she points it at a. Is there a bottle or anything? An empty bottle on a side or something?
She says, don't use that. Don't. No need. Please don't.
Very well.
Please don't.
Very well.
She
Aw.
says, who is the dealer?
Well, that depends.
He had
He
no
kind
name.
of made it clear that he would have no more dealings if I was to get the authorities involved.
I'm not saying, do I look, my dear, do I look like an authority?
Well, not that you are, but would you get them involved?
You'll have to trust me. I will not get the authorities involved. They would only make things worse, and then they would be trucking about with these.
Are you trying to persuade or deceive?
Persuade. Ah.
What does that mean? That means I believe her, right?
I would say so. As you say that, you do, despite the soundproofing of this door, you do hear a bell coming from near the entrance, and after a moment, you hear a rapping on the door.
She hardly puts the gun away.
There she stands. She fluffs out her apron, and you watch her take a brief moment. Anyone who's into performance would recognize she's putting on an air. And then she walks over to the door and opens and says, "Yes, my dear."
Tahu, I would say that you've finally finished your research
I
for the
wouldn't have
night.
returned to
Oh, you
the
wouldn't
tavern.
have?
No.
Ah.
Sorry.
Then I have misspoken. Where would Tahu be right now?
Probably still at the sanctum or at the library. Still
That's
trying to
fine.
study and attempt to find
That's
information.
fine. There is
People
a very worried turtle woman looking around going, I'm sorry, where's... Oh. And she looks to the dog and looks over to Dot, very embarrassed. Sorry, Mom. The head retreats slightly into the shell and she just backs away and locks the door.
Macy and
Skullface
I are going to
is
have a talk. And then she goes to sit back down after shutting the door again and says, now, as I was saying, a name, please.
Skullface is going to get up. I'm going to leave this with you lot. I need to go and consult the doctor. Jones, would you say you recommend the lad who did your wings?
I have no idea what you said, Seffi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you broke up real bad.
I heard him say,
I am
He's
going
a-
to go and consult the doctor about something. Jurnis, guy who did your wings, you recommend him?
Eli? Or...
Yeah. Eli.
Well, to be honest, I think he's lost the ability to make any further changes.
Like I say, I just need a quick consultation.
It could be discussed. Speaking of, we should actually have a conversation with him, considering his, as he put it, blood donor, as he did mention he got it on the outskirts of Nerliol.
Give me a history check if you'd be so kind.
I'm pretty sure he said that he got it from down there.
He got it from the Underdark, or rather the Dark Below. With a 10, I would say... Yeah, this was something that he picked up a while ago. The current blood donor was a clone from a creature that he picked up in the Forgelands. Technically, Kuzvelgrim is on the very edge of the Forgelands, which is the Dwarven Kingdom in general.
Skullface is already halfway to the. Skullface is already halfway to the door.
Oh, slow down. Oh, God. I'll go
You be
with him.
careful,
Make
Mr.
sure he doesn't get in
Skullface.
trouble. Do you want to come along,
Very
Graz, or do you want
well.
to hang out with your buddy in crime?
And she says, the two of you, please. Not a word. Now, Seedie, you were about to say the name of the dealer.
Before Seedie says that, here's the question: is Jurnis going with Mr. Greenstride?
She was following him out the door, and then she turned and asked, was Graz going to come, or was she going to hang out with her new buddy in crime?
Graz just looks over to Seedie and says, Nah, I trust her. She's fine. Stay good. And she's going to follow with Jurnis. And those three are outie.
I wonder what those three are going to be up to.
Hopefully not getting into too much trouble. Now, the name of the dealer, my dear.
Not that I think it's a real name, but he said his name was Trusty. It's a bit of a patchy name, but
given the nature of Dot's job, what would I have to roll to
I would say that is I would say either investigation or history, whichever one is the lowest.
They're all the same.
Well, roll whichever one you want with disadvantage.
Either way, she did pretty good.
That's not a terrible thing. Trusty. It's definitely the sort of thing someone untrustworthy would call themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's not somebody you have interacted with. Most of the criminal conduct in the city was run by Professor Cleus, the late Professor Cleus, who was in charge of the Tarditiro Tavern and the Thieves Guild. Since her death, things have kind of fallen apart in terms of that network, which, while you have your reputation and everything, you were smart enough to, stay plugged into. So you've heard the occasional name, the occasional person to watch out for. You are someone who keeps their, ear to the pulse of the city.
Mm-hmm.
The name Trusty with a 16, you've probably heard it. It does seem vague and generic enough, but there is something that rings to the back of your mind. Probably the sort of person you could find if you really wanted to. If you put the word out, this is someone that you could find, or rather, let them find you, if you wanted.
She is going to, in fact, put the word out. She is going to say, she's going to remember it. She's going to say, "Oh yes, thank you. Don't worry, I'm not going to get the authorities involved. There'd be no point. Nasty character working with nasty people, but..."
And could I ask, not point the finger in my direction when he asked how he heard of you?
Most of these black marketeers know the comings and goings of their customers, so they probably are aware that you're staying with me. If I do that directly, it'll be pretty obvious I'm going to go through a contact that I have. You may not believe this, but I have a lot of friends. It's like to Seedie directly. She's like, "You may not believe this, but I have a lot of friends." Given it's like, "I think you're putting on a perception."
I mean,
So it's like she's like, "You may not believe this, but I have a lot of friends, and there are people that I trust to make the appropriate connection that I'm going to try to make. Don't worry though, you won't be involved. Now, I have to go bake those cookies unless anyone has any other pressing business."
Ang, CD,
And we did. Sorry, go ahead.
or Dog, anything that you wish to be doing before we move to the next scene?
Seedie lets out a sigh of relief. Now that's off my chest, I can actually focus proper on preparing myself for this delve.
And
I need to get a better suit of armor. This lever just is not doing it.
Dot gets up, walks to the door, and says, "Oh, and by the way, two matters. One, Miss Seedie, I did leave your potion in your room. You should find it there, on the little night table next to your bed. And Dog, I'm going to make some special cookies for you too." And then she like walks out,
Much
humming to herself.
appreciated, Dot. Yeah, she is going to go to. Well, Seedie is going to go to her room and pocket them potions before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Would you like to describe?
Actually, no, she isn't going to do that.
Oh, she's not?
Well, you need the potions for the cookies, don't you?
No. She said she's not going to mix them in because it would dilute it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was earlier conversations. She was saying that like if you try to mix a truth potion with food like that, using a raw truth potion, you'd have to like get them to like ingest enough for it to be effective, meaning they'd have to eat like 3 dozen cookies.
Before we move on to the next scene, would you like to describe the state of Seedie's room?
It has been turned over, and a little more than turned over. It's all, the sheets are nicely fitted. Everything is all like put back as if, with no movement of any of the personal belongings. They have been carefully laid back. It has been dusted, swept, and the little table next to the bed has on it a bottle that is light violet color, wrapped in a deep blue ribbon, with a deep blue ribbon around it, tied in a bow, and attached to the ribbon is a note. And I will send Seedie a private message of what the note says, and you can decide if you want to tell people or not. Where is Seedie's character name on here? I can't find it. Where are you? Oh, Frux. There it is. Oh, Frux. One moment.
Can Seedie tell if there's any signs of rummaging in the room?
There is not. It has been immaculately made, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you need to check that or not with a roll.
I will.
Obviously, you know. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll allow you to do a little bit of work there. You know, spend a little bit of time looking over. But no, you don't see anything out of the ordinary aside from the little gift that you have.
And Frux, I just sent you the private message of what it says on the note.
As true as moonlight in your eyes. Dot Mary. What was the full name again? Merryweather?
Merivale.
Merivale.
Give me an insight check, please, Seedie. You're in there. So, while all that is going on, at the library, our associate, Mr. Tahu.
Oh, Tahu.
You're still doing a little bit of research. Let's get rid of that music. Where's the library theme? I actually have a theme for the library. Let's call it this.
This is a very open library, I gotta say.
I don't have a good backdrop for it, so this seemed appropriate.
I would have used the Duke's Archives from Dark Souls, but that's just me.
If I had the image set up in time, I would have done that, but here we are. So, Tahu, you've been spending the better part of the day after your brief conversation with Lady Gosling looking over various notes. You handed off, I believe, on this day, you did hand off the rubbing of Icrius's sword for her to research. The one with the word Kahaya in Celestial. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been waiting for a little while now. While you've been in this library, and this is the actual August Sanctum library, isn't it? So this is some public place. This is the school library.
Right.
Give
A
me
private library.
Yes, the private library. Give me one more investigation check. I know you rolled last week, but let's see what happens this time. 21. Okay. 21's very good. I would say you find towards the end of the day, you do find reference to something. A previous job. Basically, you find a list of different jobs that various notable members of the college have been on. One of them involved ransacking a bunch of cultists. This group calling themselves the Ikizno. This was about 3 years ago in the area of Taikanai, which is the home of the Dragonborn, basically, towards the northwest of the continent where you guys live. Very far away. However, the reason that this has caught your attention is because it makes reference to a book that was sealed away and placed in the private section for the heads of the college to deal with, the restricted section. It's referred to the Wave of the Abyss, and some of the notes on it refer to fanciful tales of this cult, speaking of ancient beings before the dawn of time, and the word Senja is listed in this notation. Now, given your 21, I would say you know that the only people able to get into the restricted section would be the various department heads of the school, such as Lady Gosling, Jasper Dismythe, and some of the other people that you don't really have much interaction with. What would you like to do?
I will start by just straight up going to Gosling. Again.
Okay. Okay, then.
See if she'll give it to me, or go and get it, or something. Or
Okay, then.
even just watch over my shoulder as I read it, or something.
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay.
Something.
That's fair, because yeah, at this point, it's like anything. You just need to know. It's been 2 days.
Do some research.
It's been 2 days of this bullshit, and you finally, at the end of all this, the only thing you could find is this scrap of information.
Yes.
And it's not even information. You need more. I would say after a minute or two, you're able to track her down. She's still in her studio, in her office. And give me a persuasion check. Okay. A 20. Well, that was a perception, but again, I'm gonna say, yeah.
Is it the same? It's a -1.
So a 22. A 22 is not dreadful.
No, it would be a 17.
I'm aware. I'm aware of this book. What reason do you have for researching it, if you do not mind me asking?
Trying to just learn more and be prepared for the fight. If there's anything we can use to counter or be prepared or anything.
Very well. She is going to. Yeah, so I would say that after a few minutes, she leads you to the private section. There's a large, basically, it's the back of the library. There's a solid wooden door. You see her take out a series of heavy iron keys. There's 2 locks. And then she just murmurs something to herself and runs a finger along the edge of the door frame, similar to what she said, in her studio. Thank you, folks. And the door clicks open. Inside is a very small, compact reading area, enough for one person. Tahu's having none of that. Basically, it's just one chair and a desk. There's one very thin window with heavy black bars across it on the inside. And there are rows upon rows of books that have been chained to the shelving. The shelving is also locked in place with various keys. After a minute or two, Gosling looks through the index, trying to locate the exact location for that book. And after a minute or two, she locates the exact one and brings it over to you. The book in front of you has a strange rubbery texture to it. It's like an off-black, deep grey-green. Yeah, it's an unusual texture for a cover to have. The paper inside seems slightly water damaged, and there is a bit of a musty vibe to it. It also seems fairly badly damaged. You can tell that there is a rather nasty gash through part of the book where it's like some kind of edged weapon impacted with it. It hasn't destroyed the book by any means, but several, I would say a good half of the pages have a big split in them, which makes thumbing through them a little bit difficult. Lady Gosling looks to you and to the book for a moment with a little bit of curiosity, trepidation. You can tell she's not exactly keen on leaving you alone with it. But after a while, she just agrees to give you a bit of time on the condition that any relevant information you can glean, you
I'll
will
let her
give to
know.
her. Good
Of
to know.
course.
Okay. I would like Mr. Tahu to give me 2 rolls. First of all, I would like you to give me a investigation check, and then I would like you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
I'm gonna throw.
Okay. A 5. Okay.
If it means anything, I would be okay with literally going all night and my character not sleeping and eventually taking exhaustion checks tomorrow.
It's not real. It's only a
If
story. It's only
if
a
it
story.
means investigating this book all night long.
Okay. Roll me 1 more investigation and give me your second wisdom save with disadvantage.
Why is it a 5 again?
That is not fair.
That is really unfortunate. Okay. Okay. You spend hours poring over this book, and to clarify, this is not a printed book. This is a handwritten collection of notes and scribbling. If a book could have a nervous breakdown, this is what the result would be. It is supposedly a collection of stories of days before time, of great beasts, of water, of a world filled with ocean and nothing else, of great beings coming down and destroying a perfect paradise, of other beings coming and imprisoning them, of a continual battle of light and dark with the true owners of the world being forgotten and ignored and left to rot. And this book professes to be parables and a religious text for those wishing to bring about the return of the true masters of this world. That's the most you can get out of it, because a lot of it is just meandering bullshit about fish, about tentacles, about breeding cycles of different types of fish, and there's stuff about dragons.
You said fish twice.
I said there's a lot of fish. You actually thumb through, and yet there's more fish. It's like they're obsessed with fish for some reason. But you do see. I would say this, even with a 5, the Senja are mentioned, and the Kahaya are mentioned. In both cases, they're referred to as usurpers and enemies of the one true gods. What that is supposed to mean and how that helps you, unfortunately, with a 5 both times, you're going to need some time with this. And I would say at this point, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's not much else you can do. If you were to try and push this any further, it's very likely you would be unconscious. But because I'm a kind and merciful DM, I'll let you try one more time if you want. But if you fail...
At least it's better than a 5.
It is better than a 5.
What, I pass
say
out in the library would be...
You do pass out in the restricted section.
Gosling
with...
will know. Not like I'm going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it's early morning before they find you and wake you. Gosling is...
Quick.
Let's rewind a little bit, because the DM did fluff up some details. I'm going to be kind to you. You have a very odd evening. The vision that you get is of a deep ocean, of a body of water with no light. Bless you, my child. You feel yourself drowning in a dark abyss. All around you, there's water. And for the longest time, you feel alone. Except you feel through the water the briefest bit of motion. To the left, something behind you, something to the right. Feel something circling, though you can't see it. You're blind down here. There's no light. There's just nothing but the water. And you should have drowned by now. You should be dead by now, but you are still going further and further down. And the water is everywhere around you, and you feel the motion moving around you, larger and larger. There is something circling you. Something whose your attention has grabbed. And you feel this coldness come over you. It is frigid. It is numbing. And it is terrifying, but as you feel the motion moving around you, you feel a second force just behind you. You feel something touching you. Something moving around you, and you see nothing. You are blind. You slowly start to feel enveloped by this not aggressive, but very calm and possessive limbs wrapping themselves around you as you start to hear something in the back of your mind. You can't make out words. You don't know what they're saying, but you can feel something whispering to you. And you awake screaming. I would like you to give me a Constitution saving throw, please, Tahu. Okay, you managed to not throw up as you feel this. You've woken up before drunk. You've drunk. You've had hangovers and everything. This feels like a hangover without the good thing before. Your mouth is not only dry, it is full of salt. The taste in the air. All you can taste is salt. You also have, of course, a point of exhaustion.
Can't imagine how that would feel. Like the worst crap you could ever feel like.
What would Tahu like to do after that bullshit?
Where am I?
You are in the restricted section, and there is a banging on the door. For some reason, as you realize you're on the floor, the chair that you were on has been wedged under the handle, and as you look around, you don't speak the language of the symbols that have been scrolled across the walls, but you do recognize the substance that has been used to make those marks. It is blood. And as you look down, you realize your hands are cut and damaged and slowly healing from some very vicious wounds. Open up! What would you like to do?
Panically get up and quickly scramble to get the chair out from under the door.
Okay, the door opens and 3 very large college associates come into the room. They try and take in the sight of what's going on. And they look at you with a mixture of confusion and dread, and you are probably going to have a conversation with someone about this.
Look at them and I'm like, get Gosling.
You say, get Gosling? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I just sit back down on the floor.
Okay. Meanwhile, I would say it is currently, as we said previously, it's now nexty. I would say it's going to be around about 8 o'clock in the morning. We are on day 3, and Tahu did not come home to the tavern last night. So, what does the party wish to do?
Yep.
I apologize. So again, we're doing time skips quite a bit. Let's go back a little bit. Let's just pause that because Skullface, you were going to the Antiquan Society to have a chat with Dr. Cathal.
Yep.
Okay. Let's just bring that up there. So. And so, what is it that Skullface wished to, discuss with a good doctor?
Well, first, basically, he wants to know the weaknesses of any abominations. Second, how he can block any attempts for him to contact him mentally. And third, to double check if this grief-consuming creature is indeed a possibility.
Right. Okay. That is a bit of a thing. I've completely forgotten what his voice was. So now we're going to do basically Ez. So yeah, no, I'm Ez now. Okay, cool. I genuinely have. It's supposed to be like a Danish voice, but yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, no, okie dokie. So we're going to do this kind of voice, I guess. That is a bit of a weird one. I'll be honest, I do not know much about them. We basically just trap them and use their blood because, you know, they're very malleable.
How do you trap them?
Well, basically, we have, they're very susceptible to, well, like most things, you know, electrical energy. I basically try to charge a net or basically it's pretty much how you would capture a shark or something. You have a large open cage, you dangle a little bit of meat in there, usually one of our associates, we pay them very well, they're usually safe, is fine. And as soon as the creature gets in, we get the associate at the other end, snap the door shut, and we charge the cage. Electrical current usually is really good for dealing with most problems.
And I'm guessing the electrical current is especially painful.
Not especially. I mean, it's just, that is, it's most living things, they're not really like it. I do know the constructs, it's really good for constructs, but, for what do you think with the aberrations? Aberrations are, we don't quite understand them. It's a bit of a catch-all term. They are basically creatures that don't make sense. So there are some people who think they are a symptom of the universe going wrong, or basically they only can exist in places where there is, the laws of reality are being messed up and everything. But I don't know anything about that really. I mean, I just use them as a medium. Their organs, their blood, because it is unique. It does not follow the traditional laws of other biology. It means that they are very useful for a medium to create the process that I use to change a more normal body into something different.
Right.
While he's discussing things with Skullface, Jurnis is gonna have a
I'm
little
sorry,
look
so
around and see if she can spot the vial of her blood floating around.
So I just need to nip away for a few minutes. So back as quick as I
Jur-
Not a problem, not a problem. Okay, Jurnis. I would say a 19's close enough, yeah. Now refresh my memory. The vial of blood that you gave to Dr. Cathal, this was before everything went to hell in a handbasket the last time you visited Antican, yeah?
this is what he took in exchange for him backing up my story as to why I suddenly had wings.
Okay. Okay. I would say while Skullface is having this conversation with him, and the doctor's really getting into it. It's like trying to unpack what little information he can share. You look around, and while a large amount of this workspace is still heavily damaged, the main chamber where the blood donor was housed is completely wrecked. The various beds and the tubing that will connect the dialysis machine and everything to it is slightly bent out of proportion, and there are still a few stains around. One of which you would probably remember as being all that remains of Miss Smith. It's kind of concerning that hasn't been cleaned up yet, but you can tell that area seems to have been left alone.
Devillo, you monster.
He can't bring himself to do it. So.
That's the worst thing ever, and it's, oh my god.
He's not doing well. But you do notice that There is one section that has been kind of cleaned up. A small back end to the laboratory, and there are a series of basically like a still almost, a whole series of beakers and tubes and wires. And there you do see the there we go. I've actually found the antic and lab music finally. You do find the vial of blood, which is it's basically it's not connected to anything. It's just hung up next to a series of other ones, and it does have your name there, with a series of like basically serial numbers to help him identify it.
So it's basically mixed in with a bunch of other vials.
Yes.
If it were
With
to
your
go
investigation,
missing, would it be very easy to disguise the fact that it's missing?
possibly. As you look over, you do see a few other vials. One name does catch your eye. Miss Smith.
Okay, I'm back.
Oof.
So, what are you planning to do, Jurnis?
Is there names on any of the other vials, or just those two? Anything else?
There are names. There's a whole bunch of different names. You don't quite remember the names of the the other patients that were there, but doing the math, it does look like these are the various patients that have gone through the process. There's you do notice like underneath the name or the species of the donor is listed under yours. It's got tiefling. Under Miss Smith, it was halfling. Then you see one for a dwarf, one for a gnome. And I would say that the last one as well would be one that says human. And it is Dr. Cathar's name. So he has a vial of his own blood here as well.
Jurnis is going to, like, while he's talking to Skullface, like, slowly move around behind him and try to reach for the vial.
Give me a wisdom saving throw with disadvantage.
A wisdom saving throw?
Yes.
With disadvantage.
Oh no.
Oh no.
As you go for the vial, you feel everything tense up in your arm as if you've been electrocuted. There is...
Fucker, I can't break a deal.
I don't even need to continue. You get it. You feel this recoiling as your body convulses, and you're able to keep your mouth shut. You don't draw attention to yourself, but yeah, you kind of realize with a concern that that would be going against a deal. And for the briefest of moments, it looked like your hand seemed a little withered and worn before you blink again and everything is fine. Maybe a warning. Maybe just a trick of the light. Who knows?
Now that was interesting.
You're right.
Something to be discussed later.
Jurgen Springsinger cannot break a deal. Consequences would be dire.
Very well then.
I love this game.
Perhaps a conversation is needed to be had with Mother later. But for now... so, Scully, have you any other questions for the good doctor?
Yeah, I have. Doctor,
Hello.
I know you said you're not an expert, but If there is a creature that is linked to me, feeding on my guilt, is there anything I can exploit the link?
Ah, I'm more of a biologist. That's more like a psychologist type thing. That's not really my field of expertise, if I'm honest. If something to break the link, a psychic influence.
Not break it, Doc. I want to use this link to track it.
Oh, right. Honestly, I don't know. I'm afraid I am not really the person. I don't know who would have that kind of knowledge. To be honest, that sounds like more of a. I think that would be more of a magical thing. I'm more grounded in the realms of reality and science," said the 6 foot tall, blue skinned man with the curly moustache and the full
Right. I
tentacle.
figured since these creatures tend to involve mucking around in people's minds, you probably have a little knowledge on them.
Yeah, no, I've not really done an extensive study. I mean, I can ask around. I can, I do know quite a lot of people in the field. It might take a little bit to get that information for you, but I can try. I can. How long do you? Because you're
I'm gonna
going
need it
down.
within the next. I need it before we go down, Professor.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do. I'll make a few calls. See what I can find.
Okay, because this thing thinks it's a predator. I'm gonna hunt it down. I'm gonna make it suffer.
Give me an
It's made for
insight
this.
check, please, Skullface.
1 second, I need to open the character sheet again.
Mm.
I know what that
Insight.
insight's going to be before the roll even develops.
Okay. You notice the attitude of the professor kind of changes a little. And his eyes kind of narrow. He kind of folds his arms and he just gives you a very shrewd look. And a lot of the bumbling wackiness kind of drops away a bit as you see someone very similar to yourself. In that moment, you feel a definite connection with Dr. Cathal. You have my word. I will do everything I can to find the information you need.
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate it.
It is my pleasure. He gives you a polite nod. Well, unless there's anything else I can do for your fine people, I have a lot of work to do, a lot of studying. Oh, there you are, Miss Springsig. I didn't see you back there. Yeah, you've seen the connection, yeah? And he actually comes over and he shows Jurnis the still with the blood. Nothing ready yet, but I've been doing a few tests on your blood, and interesting. No conclusive findings yet, but there is a bit of a difference to, the usual tiefling quality. Interesting, very interesting. Seems you've changed, almost on a cellular level.
And what do you mean by that? Out of scientific curiosity, at least.
I mean, look at you, you've got your rings back and everything. Is there anything else you've noticed? Anything different about yourself? Can you do things? Can you see things? Can you hear things? What has changed for you?
The question is, do you really want to know? And if you do know, how far will you spread the information?
Well, first of all, I really, 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 really want to know because, is my thing. But in terms of spreading the information, all my sources are confidential. You have my word on that. I want to understand change. I want to understand how to evolve, how to grow. I want to know how you have done it. I don't expect to follow the same path. I remember. Now, here's a slight tangent. Did you guys actually explain to Dr. Cathal how you got your wings? Or were you just saying, hey, would you please just say we got them from you?
I would have told him it was due to some magical basis that the Siren Charter wouldn't like.
You're breaking up really badly for me, I'm afraid. Can I get that again, please?
Is this better? She probably would have been pretty vague, saying that it was from a magical source that the Siren Charter would be very unhappy about. Hello?
Record, you're breaking up really badly. I don't know if anyone else is hearing that or if it's on my end.
I can hear perfectly fine.
Excellent. Okay,
the peanut gallery.
That is on my end, so you give the DM 1 second, he'll be right back. And the DM is back. Okay, Jurnis, you want to give me that one more time, please?
She didn't give him full details, more along the lines of she got it from a magical source she wasn't going to name because the Siren Charter would have been very displeased about it.
Well, let me tell you this about the mages. I do not give two shits about them. I have no friends in that circle. So, rest assured, anything you're telling me is in strictest confidence. His eyes narrow a little, and again a little bit of the goofiness drops away. Also, no judgment. Do you tell him?
Well, I suppose if it's going to further your studies and to make sure you don't get yourself in any trouble. Jurnis is going to activate her visage for when she's about to use Hellish Rebuke, where a small mound of flame just appears between her horns for a moment. Let's just
Okay.
see. Some of my bloodline has come to bear.
Ah. First generation. I see. Thank you.
I'm not as far removed from the hills as I'd like to be.
Thank you for the trusting confidence, my dear. I rest assured this will not leave the room.
Well,
I would like...
Then I'd have to come back and kill you, my dear. She says, there's like her little charming smile on. It's like, not entirely sure whether or not she's serious herself.
Dr. Cathal starts giggling at that, and it goes on a little bit longer than is comfortable. Okay. And he leans forward a little bit.
I'm gonna insight that.
He seemed to think it was funny. That's all you get. Sure. Sorry. Yeah. So, I would love to have another conversation about this in the future. I have work to do. I think you have work to do as well. I need to make some calls. And now I have a new direction in which to put my research. So thank you, Miss Pinksinger. Thank you so much. You have given me a lot to think about. If I were to want to get in touch with your patron, how would I go about doing that?
Well, you would speak to me, my darling.
There is much that I need to do and probably will not have time before you go down. I do not want to take up any more of it, but when you return, and I do hope you return, can I have your word that we can have a conversation about it?
We will have a conversation, but I cannot give you any guarantees as to the outcome of that conversation.
Oh, I will accept those terms. Do you shake his hand?
Not for the moment, no. But as I say, this is a very strenuous if I come back from nearly all unscathed.
Let us just say I have faith.
I have more than me. Now, I do have a question. You mentioned traps. You wouldn't happen to have some of those delightfully chargeable nets around that we could borrow, would you?
Oh, now we are talking. Over the next 15 minutes, he's rumbling around the back of his laboratory, grabbing various bits and pieces, like, no, broken, hair dryer, no. And eventually, he does pull out a series of nets. These are like made of metal, like a metal twine almost, that are segmented. And there's a series of rubber wires that connect to a small box. And they are heavy. So I would say you guys only have the ability to carry 2 of them. But he is going to pass them off to you and make a note somewhere so the DM can actually have those written up for the future, okay? So for the time being, you have 2 electrified nets.
Excellent.
Now, if you do not mind, I have much to do. Do come again.
I will try, depending on how well we come back.
If you can... My wife has her own affairs, but if you have any... if you come across anything that you think would be relevant to our mutual interest, please let me know.
Please pass on my regards to your charming wife.
I will do that when I see her next. Might be a while.
I do believe I heard she was in town recently.
Briefly, yes.
I did have the pleasure of making her acquaintance.
You see his eyebrow arch a little at that?
Oh, not in that way, not in that way.
I am not judging. That is who she is. That is the nature of our arrangement. But no, Eliath is, she is her own person. She has her own mission, shall we say. She was only in this village, this town, I should say, briefly to console me, to help, and to provide aid for those who needed it. That has been done, and she is off. She has her own business to attend to. But if I see her again, I will be sure to pass on your regards.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good day. So, you guys head out of the second building.
I was going to say, Face did say something to Graz before.
Okay, let's see.
Scarface, why is Graz looking at you like you just killed her pet in front of her?
It's that, and also the fact that Graz looks like she's about to start wearing a goblin skin cloak.
Because this is an extremely stupid, very stupid plan, but I need one of you two to kiss me or something that will get me feeling guilty.
Is this to do with what you saw at the temple earlier?
Precisely.
I'm so sad Dot not in this scene.
Well, Wix, my buddy, unfortunately, as we've established previously, I'm only interested in the ladies. You are absolutely not my type. However, if you and Red want to make out, rest assured there will be an emotion. I don't know if guilt is going to be involved, but I'm very curious to see what happens. You hear a slight cracking of knuckles as she smiles.
Graz, please don't punch him in the back of the head.
The back of the head. That's cute.
I didn't specify which head.
She does laugh at that.
Are you sure you want to do this, Scully?
Yes, I'm certain.
All right. What do you want? A peck on the cheek, peck on the forehead, or do you want to go the full mouth thing? Because that might cost
It's
you
up to
something.
you.
All right, come here. You just gotta crouch down and give him a little peck on the cheek.
Yeah, I'd
Wanted
say
to look.
Scorpius is feeling very awkward.
Yeah,
Wanted to look 30 to touch.
Yeah.
Graz kind
Turn
of.
into a prince yet, Scully.
So that peck on the cheek, Graz was sort of like half turning away, looking a little irritated. She looks at you and just like, "Oh fuck it, come here!" And she just basically turns, holds Skullface like fireman
Sorry,
dipped
I
him.
need to be back. I'll be back in a second. 1 second.
Not a problem.
Bloody hell.
Okay.
The innocent
But
lad
yeah.
has to run.
Yes, he has to run away, but he can only run so far. I love how technically we're still on night number 2. We've not progressed this fucking night in
That
2
happens.
hours. It does. It really does. It really does. Ah.
I knew that would get under your skin.
No, but I will reiterate for for Sephi when he comes back. But yeah, Graz basically almost lifts Skullface up, Fireman dips him, and she is just making out something fierce. But while that is going on, before Sephi returns, does anyone else have anything planned for this day that never ends?
Yes.
Oh,
I have sent. I sent
yes.
you I sent you a message, and I would like you to look at it.
I'm reading it now. Feel free to converse amongst yourselves while I do that.
I assume we're gonna
It's the
ambush
day.
Tahu tomorrow, yes?
This is the day that never ends. We just
Like in the sun that goes nowhere with it. I was thinking the same thing. It's like day that never ends, and the song that goes with it.
Whoops, there's a misspelling. I'm going to correct a typo.
That's
One word.
I will
One
say
word.
this as well. I will tell you all this while we're waiting. The Dungeon Master did a boo-boo because I had several different notes and I actually glossed over something. So this is for Tahu specifically. When you were researching the word Senja and it came up in that series of notes, the thing in question, it wasn't a series of, assassinations against a cult or anything. I'd like to completely retcon that. That's actually a separate item that might come up later. The reason that this book has been added to the collection.
Okay, back. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's okay. Let me just finish this retcon first. So, the book that Tahu found, which is called The Wake of the Abyss, this was something that was recovered from a collection of items that were reclaimed from a group of adventurers somewhere to the north west, the Dragonborn island of Taikanai. This was part of a collection of quote-unquote dangerous magical artifacts that were reclaimed from them by the Siren Charter. However, there was an unfortunate accident arranged by the Org Sanctum, and a good chunk of these artifacts were shipped over to the Org Sanctum. And Lady Gosling is one of the people who was responsible for overseeing that particular operation. And going through the notes, there is a basic manifest of who the adventurers were. But you don't really remember that right now, but if you wanted to double check the source of this book, that is something you could do in the future. We'll see if it becomes relevant, but you do have a list of the names of the people who acquired the book originally and where it was picked up from. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Now then, meanwhile, Skullface, Graz has grabbed you, lifted you up, and bent you over, and she is making out with you something fierce. There are hands, there are tongues, there is all sorts of stuff. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Just for the hell of it.
Okay, so con save.
Okay. You survive, just about. You're a bit winded, but she's like, hi. And she drops you to the floor. Calmly puts 1 foot on you, takes a swig from her whiskey flask, gargles, and spits. Nothing personal, mate. But yeah, women are better. So, feeling guilty yet?
More panicked, but starting to.
I think you're a little bit too much woman for him, Graz.
Skullface is basically looking around now, just looking and waiting.
Give me a perception or an investigation. I'd say investigation. And I would say, yeah, yours. I would say, no, it's funny. I think you're just traumatized from what just happened. I would say Jurnis and Graz are going to roll as well. I will roll for Graz. And that is going to be investigation for Graz. Okay. So, Graz rolled a 20. And she is looking around.
Oh, shit. Calm down.
She's looking around. Well, I don't see nothing.
Does Jurnis?
With an 11, you do not. Well, thanks for the offer, Wex, but next time, maybe one of your sisters, yeah? She helps you up.
I was hoping I could draw it out.
Perhaps it'll only work if you're actually physically attracted to someone, dear.
I suppose. I just want to make sure this thing knows I'm coming through.
I mean, that might be a reason why it didn't show up. If it's an intelligent creature.
Right,
that is
well...
possible.
He's not going to raise his voice to yelling levels, but he goes, all right, wherever you are, know this. We are coming down beneath this city. I'm going to find you. And I'm going to make you fucking hurt. For you even daring to use Rena's image like that. I am declaring fucking war against you. And I'm going to make sure the only thing left of you has to be scraped off the fucking walls.
And we're leaving while he's threatening the postbox. Let's go, Graz.
He just goes, because you've made this personal now.
Okay. The few people who were out here on the street with you are definitely giving you a much wider berth. You see one person, maybe they're walking off to find a guard or something. I would say that Jurnis is able to maybe dissuade anyone who actually approaches wondering what the hell is wrong with this angry goblin with her warden's badge.
Oh, he's practicing a soliloquy for a play. Don't worry about it. He's a very, very dedicated actor.
Great performer. Rubbish kisser now. So, And yes, we are now, before this day ends, we are going over to Dot's Tavern. And
While sorry, go ahead.
Uh-huh. And Dot, I believe, was making cookies. Is that correct?
Yes, I will share with everyone that at the exact moment that Skullface finished his soliloquy, I sent a message to Devillo saying, "Smash cut to Doc making cookies. I'll destroy you all." And cookies ever. And so yes, she's putting the finishing touches on some beautiful cookies. They all, except for one, look similar. They all appear to be big sugar cookies, except, sorry, they have raised swirls all across them, pearls of chocolate and vanilla frosting, and then crisscross lacing of the chocolate drizzle and vanilla drizzle. And one is like that, except it's coated in what appears to be caramel peanut butter. That's the one for dog.
Mm.
And that one looks more like a biscuit, not a sugar cookie, but it's a big round biscuit. Maybe a little more than would be normally okay to give your dog. She says, "Well, I've made these," and she says, "And she says, as long as everyone pays attention, I'm going to be presenting some to each person. Tahu's will be Tahu's. Yours will be yours. Everyone needs to make sure to take good care of to enjoy their particular one. No trading, please. I've made them all special to your individual dietary needs. And I'm going to be serving a nice, thick, relaxing beverage for everybody to go along with them. They make fantastic dipping."
So to clarify, is Jurnis, Graz, and Skullface back now?
She would tell them when they got back.
Sure.
Skullface has gone back to his house.
Aww. Okay. And please make sure that Mr. Skullface...
Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of us getting together for a group conversation. But are we doing that tonight or are we doing that tomorrow?
I was thinking we were going to do it tonight. I'm really looking forward. I do not want to wait anymore to discuss the group setting with Mr. Tahu. It's urgent. It's urgent.
Where is
I would say if
Tahu?
Has anyone even seen him for the past few days?
I'd say if Jurnis
Sorry, go ahead.
I'd say if Jurnis says that, he just goes, "You already know my feelings on the matter."
All right, you won't feel sure. And Scully, she's gonna grab onto his arm. If you see that thing tonight, don't engage it. Not on your own. Come to us. We already had one of our party running off doing something stupid, and I hope you're smarter than that.
It's not the time for that sort of thing.
I'm just going to give you a message.
And
do you have any means of tracking it, Scarface? I'm so sorry, D.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Scarface, do you have any means of tracking this?
I'm looking into potential means. Some kind of connection to me. If it does, I intend to pull that thread in my direction.
Just don't do anything stupid.
To that end, sorry, go ahead.
Like I said, I'm just going to talk.
To that end, do take your share then, Mr. Skullface. They're still warm. Warms the heart. And your drink in the little glass bottle that's like this thick, milky fluid. It's just, it's also nice and warm.
Thank you, Miss Merritt.
Oh, the poor fellow. She looks after he goes. She's like, "Oh, the poor fellow. I do worry about him, but yes, it appears perhaps Tahu's aware of your involvement. Oh, did you find the potion, Miss Seedie?"
Yes, I did. Top marks for presentation, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So, oh yeah, I rolled like really high on insight on the message with it.
Yes, I think my microphone must have cut out because I basically said, "You're in there." To clarify, it appears that Dot has an interest in Seedie.
Mm-hmm. She does.
Oh!
That sound! That was beautiful. Was that horror?
No, it's just a surprise.
Read the note again.
As true as the moonlight in your eyes.
How could you not?
Yep, that's actually very flirtatious on the.
She's been dropping. I will say this. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but Dot's been dropping hints every time she talks to Seedie.
Seedie's been oblivious.
Yep.
Clearly.
She literally has been calling only you my dear. She has been saying like, I do look forward to us getting to know each other better. Maybe when all this stressful stuff is over, you could come visit me. She's being
nice.
Yeah, well, she is. She's being very nice. Something nice. But yeah, so she says, so you all know what to do. I will make sure to be serving the cookies. I do hope Tahu arrives soon, but perhaps he won't come back. Maybe he realizes he's been found out. But I do want to... Oh, and I also took the liberty, Jurnis and the others, of drafting that letter I was telling you about. You're welcome to read it, and she hands it over to Jurnis. It's just a draft. It is not. She says, "To be clear, it has not been sent. But I am. She says it's the kind of thing I think would be appropriate, and I will send it to you, Jurnis. Probably the best way. It's big and long. I don't know if you can make it into a picture or for the game.
Yeah, what I can do is I can take a screenshot if you give me a moment.
She has not sent it, but she hands it over to Jurnis to consider. And she says anyone else who wants to read it is welcome to, but I'm keeping it close to the apron for now. She says, as for your concerns, Lady Jurnis, someone like Lady Gosling, she knows we're aware of her. I think it would be probably a good idea to disabuse her of the notion that she is continuing to work under stealth. When it comes to accidents, mishaps, someone like Lady Gosling is quick to not just have that happen to us, but to potentially others. Oh, we are not the only group that's going down there. She could have such people involved everywhere. I want her to know that that information is going to be shared in the interest of safety with everyone who's going to be involved in going down.
Are you sure that's wise?
I'm very sure it's wise. As much as it might inconvenience us, as much as it might lead to future problems, it allows everyone fairly to scrutinize who they allow into their company. Most recently chosen to go down, most scrutinized. People who know each other, less scrutinized, but Lady Gosling puts her fingers into everything.
Well, that's the thing, really. The moment people start getting wise, she's going to suspect me or Tahu.
She says, you are going to be removed from my employ, or from my company. She says, don't worry about that. And besides that, if you go back to her with failure, she's not going to be getting directly involved. She's going to stay behind, and your life might as well be forfeit with someone like her if you fail.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that again.
Your
By the
first
way,
line
the
is
letter...
literally once again. Have you had dealings with this woman before?
Yes, I told you that. I know her well.
Honestly, I
She's
thought you
made
were talking about
multiple
you knew
offers.
of her, not that you knew her personally.
No, I've known her. She and I have had words many a time.
Also,
Many a time. Mostly a few words from me, lots of words from her.
Is she really as powerful as she makes herself out to be?
Less powerful and more lethal. Powerful in the way a serpent in your boot is powerful.
you're threatening to expose her. When you do that to people who are this dangerous, they get their backup. If you,
Yes.
She says,
if they perceive themselves to be being pushed into a corner, they will lash out.
I would say this though, say what you want about no disrespect, Seedie, but the sneaky, stabby bastards. They don't like people knowing what they do.
exactly. Yes.
Everyone knows what the August Sanctum is, but at the same time, the August Sanctum likes to say, we're not that, we're the Non-Assassins Guild, we're a political school where we train people in self-defense and all
Gesturing
that
to Graz, nodding and saying, and this way, it lets her know that the time is, that she's going to continue with what she's doing regardless. Her back's not up. This just tells her that every business who's going down there is going to be looking very closely at anyone who pops in and says, oh, I'm part of your group now. Because if there's accidents for us, there's accidents for all of them. She's not, someone like Lady Gosling hedges her bets. She's going to be seeking out that kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if any other group has a Seedie and a Tahu with them, though you are irreplaceable, Miss Seedie.
I thank you.
You catch my meaning. She says, this is to send a message that says, don't bother, we know. But worded in the most kindly way possible. Worded in such a way that says, we're going to celebrate her involvement, welcome the scrutiny of making sure that anything that happens is brought into alignment with considering that she could be part of the equation. After all, she does want to be involved, right? That's what she's
she
made
wants
clear.
to be involved on her terms, which she believes she is, if she thinks the only people who are aware of her goals in this party are Ms. Seedie and Tahu. Dot, I have to say, I think this is a terrible idea. You basically said that you were going to expose her. These type of people don't like that.
I'm not sure where you get that idea. I said that the group would be considering her economic involvement.
My dear, you say here, and she's going to quickly read through the letter again. Mishaps and accidents that may encounter, we will keep track of them and be sure to help other people be aware of them. That's what I mean.
I mean, let's be fair though, yes, it's a threat to her, but not a visible threat. Anyone reading that would think, oh yeah, we're being nice, we're being,
Yes,
well, perhaps the
she
last
will
line
be
was
smart
perhaps the
enough
last.
to read between the lines and see Dot's true intention, that she is being watched. These people do not like to be watched or put a spotlight on them.
Quite to be fair, she already knows I'm watching her.
If you send this, she's going to tell Tahu to put a knife in your back.
I trust we'll have dealt with Tahu by then.
Dealt with Tahu?
And if we have dealt with Tahu, like, how many other agents does she have under her, Seedie?
This is a good way to turn up the earth to find them.
Does Seedie know?
She is the headmistress of the the August Sanctum College. She has the college. You've been around long enough to know that she is basically second only to Sir Enlich, who is the head of the entire organization.
Dot, even if she doesn't send someone to kill you, she will find a way to ruin you.
We've been trying for a while. We had a dealing in the past, and it did not go her way, and I made sure it continued not to go her way. She already has tremendous hatred for me. Is that not accurate? Is that on that not accurate, Devillo, that's how it went?
I would say, yeah, everything that Dot has said has been fairly accurate. Maybe downplayed a couple of things, but one or two little details, sure. But
Yeah.
there's not been a direct lie.
No.
You don't feel intimidated by Lady
Yes.
Carver Gosling.
I'm not afraid of her, and nor should any of you, if we bring her to light, which is what I meant in the finale. Oh, but I will ask, do you think that the last line is a bit much, Jurnis?
Just gonna quickly read it again. Do you mean the PS or the
Yes, the PS, the PS, the PS, yes.
That implies that you know what her agents are doing and that you'll sabotage them.
Jurnis.
I'm going to share with you some good advice that was given to me by my mentor. Don't get your horn stuck in the wasp's nest.
I would think Graz would get it, wouldn't she?
Graz looks a little bit torn, to be fair. She's like, I mean, Aris.
No, that's not what I mean.
What is it that you meant? Jurnis cut out a little bit.
I'm sending it now.
For understanding, consider keeping yourself observant unless recent situations elicit lesser fruits. To me, that sounds like watch your back.
I told the GM what it means, because I think Graz would get it.
I'm going to need you to actually spell it out for me. Now that you've explained what that is, if you could just spell it out for me, please. This is the sound of Graz looking over the notes. She's like, Graz is just like howling with laughter, looking at the letters like, oh, you're good. I like you. No, I like this one. I like this one, Red. And Graz is pointing out the first letter of, certain words there that spell out fuck yourself.
What?
It basically spells out the phrase.
So it is F-U-C-K. That's not making it any better.
I mean, I think that's amazing. I've never met this Gosling chick, but you know what? I'm with Dot. Whatever Dot wants to do, screw it.
I will admit that it's exceptionally clever, and I do find it quite amusing. However, this is a very powerful person you're going to send this to.
My dear.
Janice, I almost threw a book at her once. I think she can take fuck you.
Yes, and she says, it's just a friendly message letting her know of the negative economic consequence.
Seedie,
she says she does want to protect her economy.
Do you see this little badge right here? She's going to point to her warden badge. Yes. They gave that to me so they could watch me, because they were going to burn me in a pit of acid for just witnessing something. The people in this city are not friends with me. They do not like me. I do not want to mess with them. Because they're just going to throw me back in that goddamn pit.
He says, Jurnis, I want you to look at me and know something. I'm not going to keep harping on you about this. I've brought it up longer than I intended to already. Do I seem like a woman who hasn't had run-ins with someone like Lady Gosling before and come out on the other side all right? I will protect you. This is a safe place.
Quite frankly, when we tell her no, I haven't made up my mind about you. Sometimes I'm very impressed with you. Other times, I think you're insane.
I'm just a normal, everyday businesswoman trying to make her way in the world. No one of interest.
Thank you for proving my point.
And she says, you are de facto the group leader, so if you say no...
Why does everyone keep saying that? Alright, listen, how about we'll just set this aside for now, and we'll deal with Tahu first. Yes?
Oh, yes, no, I wouldn't be sending this until after Tahu. There may be the need to edit some details, and I don't want it coming back on them. With our interactions in the past, Lady Gosling knows I have her number, and I will easily anticipate that she's going to want to be like this. The fact that they're the more recent additions suggests more than anything else. But yes, after Tahu, where is that bird?
So, you guys are having these conversations, and you've got the cookies, you've got everything else set up, and you are waiting, and you're waiting, and you are waiting, and it is about 11:30 before, the main tavern itself is winding down. Most of the customers have either left or gone to bed.
A smoky lounge singer lady has come out. She is a snake woman, and her voice, oh my goodness.
Not canon, if only for the fact that I would say that everything is fine except for the snake woman part.
Oh no, I meant
is...
lizard woman, not snake woman.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I will
meant
say
lizard,
there is a
not
snake.
snake. I meant like lizard folk. That's what I meant. Not
That
actual
is
snake.
You said, are you her niece?
I meant like Sia, lizard lady.
Like a seer. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
I was making your auntie joke.
Oh,
No.
You know what? Yeah, roll a d6, Skullface. I said roll a d6, son. There we go. You take 2 points of psychic damage for that. Anyway,
yes.
It's about 11:30.
Yes, 11:30. The loungy snake, or not, I keep saying snake, lizard folk lady does her routine. She's friendly with the crowd, the regulars, tip your waitress. And then she even finishes up, and because 11:30 is when it gets quiet, and only the hardcore gamer crowd is there.
I tipped a waitress once. She wasn't very happy.
So, Tahu, still not here.
Well,
what are you going to do?
Edie's just like sitting in an armchair, nervously shaking her leg.
Miss Seedie, where would Tahu be, do you think? Perhaps we should go find him.
I'm fairly certain he'd be at the would Seedie like I can see dude like guess he's at the Orca Sanctum right now, right?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Are you up to going to retrieve him, Miss Seedie?
There's a problem with that.
I
have no idea the true extent of what Lady Gosling is capable of. She may already know I have defected. In fact, when I broke into her office, I had to make sure she was not in the building at the time.
And then she considers for a moment. Is there something that I could do as an artificer to help Seedie project an air of loyalty or dedication? Is there something I could whip together, like a potion of not truthfulness, but like to elicit positivity, to boost charisma and persuasion, like some special catnip for Seedie.
Well, you do have the cantrip guidance, which would be an extra D4 to certain saves. You have an ability called an enhance ability, which means you could give her advantage on intelligence checks or it's basically the sub effect is called Eagle Splendor, where you could give her advantage on charisma checks. That's a second level spell.
She's going to offer to do both.
Now the thing with guidance is it only lasts about 6 seconds. It only lasts about a minute.
Ooh.
And as for enhanceability, that is something I don't know.
But she does it through food, so that would be like her whipping up a little treat.
Yeah, enhanceability would last for an hour.
Yeah, so she would basically, what I've worked out with Devillo is that Dot's abilities work kind of funky in that she gives you a treat. So
Yeah,
she would
I will
basically
allow
give
that.
like taffies, little taffies. This taffy is like a spice, honey, lemon, ginger spice. It will with a bit of nip, and it will help you be more confident. And I saw that, Graz. Catnip. But trying to roll it. There's enhance ability. I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. And it says that you have no available second level spell slots with which to cast, which doesn't make any sense because I've never used them.
Not to worry about that. Not to worry about that. Yeah. So we will say that that has been taken care of. Just give me a straight. Give me a straight. Let's see, what kind of check would this be for you? Give me an Arcana. Give me an Arcana check.
Okay.
13. Yeah, you think it's not your best work, but you think you've made enough of an effort.
And she says,
what you need.
She says, to help guide your way, to help enhance your natural charisma. And she says, knock 'em dead.
Also, if I get found out, I need a way to escape.
She says, there'll be people watching and they don't want to see us all going there. It seems like the sort of thing when I should come with you. After all, I'm seeing you home. I'm seeing you home. And then I can follow at a discreet distance the rest of the way as you circle back. After all, I'm very boring. No one notices me.
Yes, I don't think anybody would notice a large Minotaur woman in a city like this.
She tips her hat and says, "You'd be surprised when I'm not putting on my best glamour."
I will admit you do look rather glamorous right now.
It's just a trick of the light. I think nothing of it. But she says, I go about business even at night. I am not afraid of what might be out there. I trust the city and the people in it. They're my customers, and I do them well, and they do me well.
Should I find Tahu, what would you need me to do?
Bring him back, of course. Just tell him it's time, that they're getting ready. The meeting is going to start, and you've come to check on him. I would recommend not tarrying. Try to get back as fast as possible.
For the record, it is close to midnight at this point.
Yes.
Ooh.
Because we need to know what happened to him. I'll see you there, and I'll see you back. I wouldn't want you to go out at night alone.
Very well.
Everyone, please, I recommend you amend your rooms. I've made sure to make arrangements with the room service to have all the beds turned. Everything should be to allow for the freshest and most gracious sleep while we prepare for the morning. And whatever we decide.
I suppose there's no point in hanging around.
Yes, let's be on our way. Jurnis, do you want to come with us or do you want to go back? Or
we'll hang about here in case Tahu comes back.
Oh, yes, good idea. Oh, I don't like this plan, but it's probably for the best. Come on, Seedie, let's go.
Be careful, you two.
Always.
And do you want to go with them as backup, or are you going to stay here?
Oh, I'll stay here for tonight.
All right.
Bravest team we've had.
I need to ask one last thing of the GM before the scene changes, which
Mhm.
is
Yes. You have to go to the main person. Oh, yes. That the name of that individual would be Ruby.
oh yes. As she gets up, she says, "I'm going to need to herself." Be very quietly says, "I'm going to need to send a missive to Ruby when all this is done."
So, I would say just for the fun of it, Ang, since you were technically in the room when that happened, can I just get a basic perception check from you?
Yeah, one sec. Oh.
Yeah, you heard that. Dot muttering to herself about needing to send a message to Ruby, who the only Ruby you're aware of is the one that runs the temple. Huh.
Ruby, you say?
Hmm?
Couldn't
Yes.
help over here.
Yes, I did. Anyway, Miss Seedie, shall we be off?
Sure. The...
On second thought, I might come with you then.
Well, you won't be able to enter the August Sanctum, I don't think.
So I don't think either one of us want to. I would say the same for you, but that's really where we're at now in the situation, and some things can't be avoided.
Do you two really plan on raiding the August Sanctum if I don't come out?
I plan on raising a ruckus. Raiding the Ogre Sanctum? No. Scrutiny, perhaps.
I do hope you know what you're doing. Let's go.
She says, fire alarm, monster sighting. The city is on high alert.
Okay. So, for final confirmation, Seedie is heading to the August Sanctum. Dot is heading with her. Is Ang joining them?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case,
keep an eye on them. I don't
Oh,
fully
don't worry.
trust Dot, and Seedie is, well, being Seedie.
Seedie got a seed.
Don't worry. These kitty eyes will not fail me.
And you be careful.
Noted.
Doesn't trust Dot.
Dot's the most trustworthy character you've ever made.
I think Dot is probably the most trustworthy character ever. Dot's not going to eat people.
So,
well, here's where we part ways.
Very well. She says, give me a time. She says, she practices, she says, Dot told me that I would have to be back by such and such a time. What time is that, Seedie?
I'd say if I take longer than 2 hours, start to worry. Basically, as long as this enchantment works, she just holds the toffee in the palm
Make sure
of her
to eat them right before you arrive to maximize the time.
Okay.
And she says, then be back in 2 hours. There, now it's true. And she winks.
Seedie steps forward and can't select my token. Oh wait, never mind. I got it.
One moment. So I have a question. For in fact, it's less of a question. It's more of an observation. The August Sanctum College is a small gated community where they bought up a bunch of really wealthy homes and buildings, and they've basically fenced them off. And that is kind of like the shared compound where the college business is done. Now, 90% of the bit of the area is completely off limits to anyone who is not a member of the college. However, since Seedie is one of the professionals who provide information, or basically they help to provide examples to the students and everything. You do have the right to bring guests into the public, quote unquote, areas. So at the very least, you could they could be allowed to wait in the foyer. They would just be watched.
Would Seedie declare that? Because I hope that she does.
Don't worry. I'll get you in.
Oh, yes, the closer we can be to the situation, the better.
Into the foyer at the very least.
I'm familiar. I've been here before. They're never in good circumstances.
See if we find out that Gosling is Dot's jaded ex.
Oh, that would be fun. Whoopsie.
I'm waiting for the loophole where Gosling is already working with Chemise. This whole thing has just been a really big, just fucking pose.
A big Ouroboros. Okay. Okay. D, okay, calm down.
I know that's probably not the direction of the story, but it'd be a giant fucking.
It'd be something.
It'd be something.
Okay, I actually do need to get one more token while you guys are doing this. So,
Gosling, we meet again. You still haven't given me back my hoodies.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to open up a token here. Just one moment. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you carry on as you guys head towards the building. It is getting close to midnight at this point. Seedie, as you get to the door, you do notice Bert, the watchman who basically minds the door, nodding off a little bit with a coffee and one outside. Do you actually go through the door?
Yeah.
Also, by the way, for those of you who are looking for it, the speculator is right here. Dot and Ang are right here.
Yes. Those filthy potato.
So shouldn't be able to see that.
I'm kidding.
And that is a good question, actually. So, Dog, who are you hanging with? Are you hanging with Jurnis and everyone, or are you is Dog with this group? It is entirely up to you.
Yes. Dog did get the peanut butter cookie either way.
I don't know. I guess I'll just be back for Jurnis.
Okay, that's fair enough. So, okay, I'm sorry. I saw the icons from Frux and Specky's cursors over here, and I thought someone had typed in very small letters "fuck spectator," and I'm like, why? Anyways, so Dot and Ang, you are both led up to this beautiful old dwarven-looking building. I'd say, Ang, you do speak Dwarvish, is that correct?
Yes, 1 second.
Yeah.
Yes, Dwarvish is one of my languages.
Yeah. This is an old dwarvish built mansion, and above it is the name Grimbane. Give me a history check if you'd be so kind.
History.
20, awesome, yeah. The Grimbanes were one of the founding families that built Cusvel Grim. In fact, they are the Grim of Cusvel Grim. This was a long time ago, nearly 1,000 years, maybe, when the city was originally, built. Started off as a small fishing community, then it grew into a large town and everything. You remember going to one of the exhibits at the Antiquarian Museum, months back when you first came in. Get the lay of the land, and yeah, it's like, this is the home of one of the founding fathers, or at least it used to be. But yeah, as you guys head inside, Bert, slightly sleepily, just looks up to you, Seedie, and says, "Oh, right, Miss Seedie. How can I help you?"
Very early morning to you, Bert.
Yeah, very.
Just popping in to get some supplies for the delve in a couple of days. And is that okay? Is that okay?
Supplies?
Just a few bits of equipment.
Right, yeah. I'm not too sure. I think Mr. Smythe's handling all that, but he's gonna be at home right now. It's nearly midnight.
That's fine. I have some stuff in my own dormitory.
Oh, all right, all right. Sure. If there's anything you need, just let us know.
Very good. I have a couple of comrades to accompanying me. Do you mind if they wait in here for a while?
Yeah. They're all right to go in the main hall. He peeks around the door. So you two guys are still outside the building?
He just waves them both in.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, what a lovely establishment. It's changed so much since the last time I was here.
I will say this: you do recognize Bert because he is basically a staple of the place. His eyes kind of widen a little in recognition.
Hello, Bert.
Oh,
I have something for you.
Oh.
A little bit of honey, perhaps. She takes a generic honey candy out of her bag and gives it to Bert.
He very nervously looks around, making sure there's nobody else around before taking it. Thank you, Miss Mayvale. Lady Gosling's not in at the moment.
Oh, that's all right. I'm not here to see her.
Right. Okay. Good. Good. I really hope we don't have any trouble, Mom.
She shakes her head and says, "None at all." She says, "I'm with you on that. I am tired. I'm mainly seeing There are some guests in my inn who are a little concerned about their friends. So we've come to try to track that person down.
Oh,
they've never come home.
Mr. Tahu?
Yes, exactly. Is he here? We've been so worried. We've been so frightfully worried. Not a lie.
Yeah. I think he's in the library.
Excellent, excellent. Keep up the good work as always. Oh, and Bert, you looked a little sleepy earlier. You need to keep yourself awake or you might lose your job. And more than that.
Lady Maravel, would you like me to poke my nose in and see how Tahu is doing?
Please, it would mean the world to me.
All right.
So does Bert have a family? Sorry, go ahead.
Anything for you, Maravel. Thank
you so much, Seedie. Bert, does Bert have a family that she knows of?
That you know of. He's a single man, but he's out of the few times that you've actually been here and everything, he's basically been there. He's been there every single time. He's polite. He's respectful. He doesn't cause problems.
Yeah.
He basically a working gentleman who does his job as best he can.
Yes. So how are things, Bert? How are you? How's life going?
Well, not too bad. And so while that's going on,
exactly.
I will say this. I'm just going to get you both in here. So Seedie, the library is. So let's get spectator in. Where's the spectator? There's the spectator. Okay. I would say you know that the library is over here. and basically through this door here. So, as you head through, it is fairly late in the evening. There is one other woman here, and I would clarify, as you're going past the locked door that was next to the entrance to the library, you know that to be the restricted section, but that appears to be locked, closed off. Though I will say this, you do notice, yeah, not that person, let's say, one of the main associates is they've got their arms crossed, sat in a chair, just watching the door. Every now and then they sort of like they look outside a little bit irritated, but then go back to looking at the door. But as you head inside the library proper, you don't see anyone else except for an older looking woman you are not familiar with. She has her back to you as she's poring over a book, making notes. She's looks to be from behind. She looks to be in her mid to late 60s, silver hair in a long ponytail, in a dark green dress.
Excuse me, miss?
This is going to be slightly weird, but
yes,
just this area here is a large black spot, even though I have Specky right in the middle of it.
Yeah,
really? Okay.
I have Specky selected and it's just black.
Yeah.
Okay, bear with me a moment while I fix the lighting on this
Because
particular
if I move down
map.
here, the lighting through the window and up here at this door, or whatever that is, seems to work, but other than that...
Is that better, one?
No, still the blackness. If I move Specky
Really?
in, I can see around Specky.
Huh. That's very, very odd. I apologize.
I can see the immediate square that Specky is on.
By deselecting Specky... Oh, no, wait. It'll only show you where your character tokens can see.
Okay, one second. How is that? Is that any better?
Nope. This
I just changed the vision
is
for
blackness. Except for here. I can see here.
Let me just open up the stream a moment because I'm very curious about that. That's weird.
Wait, no, it's working.
Oh yeah, I updated I updated Specky's vision. Okay.
You have granted the potato vision.
Yes.
Because
what do potatoes have? They have eyes.
Fantastic.
Eyes for days.
Anyway, back on track. So what was it Seedie was doing?
Yes. Excuse me, miss?
Yes, hello. How can I help you?
Are you new here at all?
Not quite. I'm just passing through. Just taking a few notes. And quite... You can ask at the front desk. I'm allowed here.
Oh, don't worry. I'm certain you are, but I don't suppose you've seen a Kenku around here.
I have not, no.
He was supposed to return to the inn recently, and I've not seen or heard from him for.
There are many inns in this city, my darling, and I'm afraid I have no Kenku that I'm aware of. I would advise you check in with the front desk. And she goes back to looking through her notes. Seedie, give me a perception check, please. 17. You see this person is making notes over... she's got a large piece of paper, a series of books that she's poring over, and she's writing something down in a journal. As you're backing out, you recognize the sheet of paper as the rubbing of Icarus's sword.
Oh, and did Seedie take the candies? Did Seedie eat them?
Yeah, she has taken them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this individual is currently looking at the rubbing that you know Tahu had, and she is taking notes from it. Seems quite absorbed in her work.
Oh, when I get my hands on that Kenku. Can she hear anything through that door with her passive perception?
This locked door here?
Yeah.
With a passive perception, I'm afraid not. That is a very heavy door.
Because the player knows Seedie's. The player knows Tahu's in there. Seedie doesn't. Excuse me, you. You haven't seen Tahu around here, have you?
Oh, you're chatting to the dwarf.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenku.
Yeah, that's
yeah, he's right in there. I've been waiting for him for about 2 hours now to get out.
Oh, really?
He's working on something for Goslin.
Do you mind if I check up on him? We need him quite urgently.
Please, I'm not allowed to disturb him because he's doing something very important, I'm sure. But yeah, no, sure, why not?
Very important.
All right. He's gonna try the door.
What time is it in game?
This is, I will say, we are now at midnight. So I would say around about this point, we are getting around to the point where I would say Tahu is in the middle of enjoying his nightmare.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I've already gone insane and locked the door.
The door is locked.
Do you have a key for this?
Yeah. He jangles the keys.
Do you mind unlocking it so I can have a word with him?
Look, right, here's the thing. If I disturb him, then I'm going to be in trouble. And you know what Gosling's like.
You know what?
I'd rather not, you know. No. Give me a reason. I want to go to bed. I'm fucking knackered, love. So give me a reason. Convince me.
I have an idea. She just holds up her lockpick and raises her eyebrows at him.
Yeah, I love the idea. But the things, I'm right here. I'm right in front of you. How am I going to let you do that? You know, because they're going to ask me, oh, how did she pick the lock? And how did she do that? Well, you were looking at it. You know what I'm saying? So, come on, now, convince me that there's an emergency that, you know, I need to get him out of there. Huh?
It's been hours?
I assume we can't hear any of this from the other room, can we?
I'm afraid not.
I didn't think so. I didn't know how much sound carried to this point.
It's been hours, and of course we need him right now for something very important regarding the delve in a couple of days.
The delve?
You know what? Sure, you got me sold.
Yeah.
He basically he unlocks the door and he tries to open it. The fuck? Tries again.
Are you sure you're using the right key?
No, it's the right keys. Right. He unlocks the second lock, and then the third lock. It's like, look, I need a coffee. Bert's been hoarding it all night, and he runs his finger down the side, and he murmurs something to himself in Draconic. Right, okay, here we go. Okay, and he's testing the door, and it is not moving. I would say at this point he starts banging on the door. You're right in there. There is no response.
That's That's not right.
I would say a little bit of time passes. So Dot and Ang, while you have this conversation with Bert, he has said you're more than welcome to hang around in the main foyer, which is just north of where you are, the next room over.
Come along, dear. Or not dear. Come along, sir. And Dot moves and like gestures to follow, like it's like ahead. You're like, go ahead, like Aang is her bodyguard. She says, I believe I will have a look around. Want to see what she's done with the place. Good love test on the first thing she can reach as she, pulls it up. Is it immaculate?
It's a beautiful looking building, but
Yeah.
it's there's plush red fabrics. There's ancient looking dwarven statues. A large painting that you would believe would be from the last member of the Grimbane line before the house was eventually sold off.
But how do the white gloves do?
Oh, there's a good chunk of dust and dirt there.
You can't hide it under a veneer of wealth. Filth knows filth, she says very quietly to herself as she goes into the main room.
I would say there's the main fireplace it's now very low this late at night, but there is a slightly warm glow. There is one associate, basically a guard, who's keeping tabs on anybody who's heading through that door there. He looks over your shoulder as a large minotaur and a tabaxi enter the room. But he looks over your shoulder towards Bert, who sort of gives him a sleepy thumbs up, and he's like, and he just continues respectfully, eye on the door, and now on you.
And she walks over to I can't control my token, but she does walk over to the. What kind of person is it? Did you say? I couldn't hear.
This is a dwarven gentleman. Bear with me a moment. Let me just double check the permissions for Dot Merivale. You should be able to control her.
Nope.
Unless the DM has done something very silly. Configure permissions. Yeah, you're the owner.
Yeah, not getting anything. Can't move her.
That is very, very strange. I apologize.
It's fine. So she says, oh, do you believe we were properly introduced? I'm Dot Merivale, owner of Dots, proprietor of Dots, and who might I have the pleasure of addressing?
I'm Phil.
Oh, Phil. Hello, Phil. Very glad to meet you. Say, you wouldn't have happened to have seen one of my patrons, a Miss Seedie, pass through here, would you? I'm on the look for her. We've got to get she says, I've got to get us back to where we need to be. It's for a very important preparational meeting. One Gosling is very eager to see followed through on.
Right. Okay. Yeah, sure. Seedie's just through there. She's in the library. That's a private section. That's for members of the college only, Mom. But you just give me a moment.
Yes,
and,
please.
I will. Yeah, and I would say at this point, yeah, Seedie's right there.
It's okay. I'll cover for them.
Look, you're not really allowed to have people outside of this room. It's not private grounds. That's kind of the rules.
It's fine. I will not let them look at the books. I mean, I assume.
I certainly didn't come here to read. How about you? She looks over at Aang.
You gives the guard a there you go look.
Aang, how about you, Aang? Or doesn't say Aang. She doesn't say Aang. She says, how about you? Because she's working hard not to name Aang. Aang? I see. Yeah. So, Dot just said, in response to, I won't let them look at the books, Dot was like, well, I certainly don't have any interest in reading anything. She says, some of us have the wealth and sophistication to know books are meant to be interpreted by experts and Give it to us. We don't do the work. That's for the common folk. And then she says, come along to Aang, and she like walks towards Seedie.
Alright.
Alright, if
She's
anything
too...
happens, if you
Basically
go,
what she was... Sorry.
if you two get in trouble, I'll take the fall.
Seedie, give me a charisma check. Normally this would be disadvantage, but because you have advantage, it's going to be a straight roll to see if you can pull this off.
Plus
Would how boring Dot is make any difference?
Plus what, Seedie?
Plus the food.
The food gives you advantage, and this situation gives you disadvantage. Hence the reason it's just a straight roll.
It cancelled this disadvantage out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ability check.
Come on.
Okay, that's a 23. Right. Okay. Just right. We've got some other associates around. Just be respectful. Keep your hands to yourself, and just be quick.
That's okay. I intend to make this as quick as possible.
I would say this, given the location of where this is, basically Dot Ang, as you step through this door here, you notice that there's this dwarven gentleman and now this human woman. They're both taking turns trying to, strong arm this very heavy looking door.
Yes, and as Dot comes in, she says, yes, as I was telling Phil out there, the only books I'm interested in are books of my banking records. Those are the only ones I'm interested in reading.
So is that the only way? Is that the only way in there?
Yeah, it's kind of a sealed room.
Even if we took up the floorboards, we couldn't get in there?
My gracious, Miss Seedie, what's the problem?
Well, the door's locked even with the key.
Yeah, we can't get in. It's freaking ridiculous, isn't it? Says
is that where Tahu is?
Is there a window? Cool.
Is that where Tahu is?
Well,
Is that a window there?
I have a... Okay, so here's the thing. When the DM was rushing to use this map, he realized that he didn't have a room set aside. So we'll say this. It's now this room over here. So let me just relocate you 1 second. It's going to be this door here. We're going to pretend it's locked. And yes, it is a toilet on the map.
Oh, dear.
Well,
You know what?
We'll be really concerned if Tahu's been in there for several hours.
You know what you call that? You call that a cloister. That's what you call it.
There we go. So it is basically, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
Tahu's not actually there then. Not actually here.
Okay, this door is locked for whatever reason. I can't bring up the walls. Because, oh yeah, I never actually put a door there. Tell you what, there's a door there now and it's locked. Are you fine? Are we happy? Are you good? It's not like, I had this plan.
You know what, Devillo? I am open to the theater of the mind.
But anyway, so this room is currently, this is what you guys are banging on. These two associates are starting to get a bit annoyed. And I would say you're making enough noise to where this woman, pokes her head out of the library door. Do you mind? I am trying to work here.
And so are we. This is an emergency. One of my guests is in danger.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh, dear God.
And none of you have seen her before.
Yeah,
Nope.
None of you know who this woman is.
She looks at the others and says, is this an emergency? This is an emergency, isn't it?
Yes, Tahu's got himself locked in there.
All right then. She gets anyone, I don't know whether you'd want to have, I don't want to take up too much time because we're moving on in time, but she does get a little bit of a grin to her face that she tries her best to suppress. And she says, how much of an emergency is this?
I mean, he needs to get out of there. This is
Uh,
weird.
Are you willing to allow for a woman's touch?
He looks over his
the
own
Minotaur.
frame, and he looks over the large Minotaur's frame, and he's like, sure.
Nothing's going to jump out and bite me, is it?
I mean, it's just a library.
I won't have to pay for damages, will I?
He looks over at the other associates. They sort of like, they confer, look, you're doing us a favor.
Yeah, and so I'm going to send a message.
Mm-hmm. After these messages, while that's going on, this older woman just rolls her eyes and slams the door shut, and hear a little click. Sure, please. I would say both Ang and Dot. I want you to both give me strength checks.
Yes.
Dot will be with advantage.
Yes, and Dot gets a look. There is a twist to her expression, and I'm going to give you one more instruction. Mm-hmm. One moment. There we go. If it'll go click. One moment. I'm sorry, my computer is so slow. There we go.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, so Dot, uses her strength as best she can.
14. So Ang, you're doing the best you can. This is a solid freaking door. This does not look like it's going to give easy, even with the two of you. Dot, you are putting everything into it. If you want to describe... Mm-hmm.
So she starts pulling, and you see her pulling and pulling and pulling with all her strength, and she's flexing and looking around. You realize that she is kind of muscular for being, a cook and a tavern owner. And she's pulling, and she says, listen, see how this is going to be my door, my old nemesis?
I push you.
And, oh, that's what I intend to do, my good dear.
Okay. Yeah. I would say this. Do you want to describe how you ram this door?
She gets reared back as far as she can and says, "Oh, do forgive me, but this has been a long time coming." And she lurches forward with her head down and her horns in full Minotaur goring fashion. After all, they did absolve her responsibilities, so she can damage this door a bit.
You like I say, you slam your horns into the door, and they do find some purchase, but surprisingly, very little damage is done to the door. You do pierce it, but it seems sturdy. Might need another strength check.
I don't know if Tahu's going to be in there and hear everything or not, but
May
here comes the strength check.
May I try something, Baravel?
Hold on.
Now, DM.
Yes. Ang, do you want to try again? This is a two-person job.
I see.
Yes.
Do you want to try again? Drink check?
Yep.
Come on, and Kung Fu Kitty.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Papa.
Some great rolls tonight. You guys are doing great. I can't wait until we finally get you underground. It's going to be fine. Everything is going to be just fine. Yeah. I'm going to be kind and say you don't break your wrist because that would suck. But yeah, this is a sturdy door. However, with that second attack, Dot, you feel something give. It doesn't move all the way, but the door does seem to move a little. I'd say it's around about this point. Before we get to Tahu, Seedie, you had an idea.
Yes. Does this door have exposed hinges?
It does.
Okay. I think you'll find this will have a rather simple solution. She
Thunk,
goes.
thunk. She pulls her horns out and goes, "Well, if you think it's a civilized solution, then by all means, go ahead."
I will need your help, Doctors. This door looks a bit heavy.
Oh, you have all my assistance in the world already. I'm ready to help you in any way I can. Completely
See,
back to being calm after like grunting cow moos.
Seedie just flips a dagger out of a sheath, and just lifts the screw out of the hinges.
Okay.
And then gestures to to Dot. Okay, lift the door.
Both of you, one more strength check, please, for Dot and Ank.
Dot's tired.
One more.
Hey! You know, Dot, you're tired, you're slightly irritated. This door is surprisingly freaking dense, and you're trying to follow what Seedie is doing, but you kind of mistime it and you almost drop it. However, Ang, reflexes of pure lightning, is able to take most of the weight. It's a bit of a moment where you're worried you might strain something, but just get it, and the door starts to move off its hinges. At that point, I would say that Mr. Tahu, you awaken from the nightmare to the sound of banging on the door. While this has been going on, you've heard people yelling to open up, and you feel like the door shaking. So you move the chair out of the way. Is that correct?
Well, how about we'll say what I originally did was actually the nightmare still, and now they're actually just busting through the door. It doesn't matter what I'm doing now.
I mean, I'm happy to retcon it if because the image that the DM has in his head, that they put all this time and effort into lifting the door off its hinges and being clever, and then you just suddenly wake up and move the chair out of the way.
Nope, I'm gonna let them finish what they're doing.
Sure. Okay.
I am clearly panicked and in the nightmare and waking up from it for the second time it feels.
Okay. So yeah, you were able to basically move the door out of the way and set it to the side, and you see the scene that we described earlier. The room is covered with bizarre script. Blood lines the walls, and it looks like it's Tahu's blood. He is.
Dot, you might want to see this.
Mm-hmm. The associates look over the shoulder. Oh, what the get a cleric?
Yeah, and Dot comes in. Dot comes in, but I can't move her still. So
yeah,
she comes in and looks around, and at this point, I'm gonna request something from you. Not to be so indulgent, but thank you. This is important. Dot's looking around at the symbols. Oh my goddess.
A 14.
My goddess.
Okay. This, well, I would say this with your history check. The symbols have a familiar look to them. You don't know what they mean exactly, but they are familiar. What's more familiar, though, is the book that's lying on the table.
Gasp. Do I have to do a different history check for that?
No, you recognize it very, very well. It's one of the books that you and your friends liberated several years ago.
And it's the one that she expressly told. It's the one that she expressly told Lady Gosling that she could not have.
Basically, yes. This is what is referred to as the Wake of the Abyss, a religious text for the cult of Akisno, worshippers of entities known as the Akolo, or colloquially referred to as Aboleth.
What is this book doing here? This is on the list of books of requisition by the town library. What have you done taking books from the town library? Are you library thieves? My gracious, Tahu, are you all right?
Many things are happening at once. So are you trying to accuse the Assassin's Guild of stealing a book from the town library?
Yes. That particular one. My gracious! This is on the requisition list! I'm on the board of directors!
I would say that might be a deception with disadvantage. There are many things happening here.
Oh, I know.
Berlin, let me just bring up this one guy and let me give an insight check from him because that's a natural one. Okay, that was a natural one. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Mom. I mean, this is part of the. I mean, I've got no say about what goes in here. I mean, like Lady Gosling's the one who's put all this together. You might want to have a word with her about that.
Well, I'm sure it's a clerical mistake. She quickly gets out her little journal and she writes in the name of the book. I'm going to hand this over to the library, and they're going to see about getting that book back, and it better not be misplaced or lost or anything like that. My gracious, have you respect for literature?
I would say this at this point again. This door opens and this older human-looking woman steps out. It's like, Madam, would you kindly shut up? I am trying to work.
And she says, "Oh, I understand. I understand, and I'm sorry. You got the better of me. As someone who's on the board of directors for the free library, I'm overwhelmed by this disrespect for shared knowledge and literature.
Give me
Tahu, are you well?
If you'd be okay, give me a history check real fast.
Yes.
Because Dot knows people.
Yes.
You don't know this woman though,
No.
but you get a sense from her. There's something familiar about her.
Dennis.
Hello.
I'm trying. I went around here.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm wanting to try and pickpocket the rubbing.
Yes.
The thing with that is this woman basically has the rubbing in her hand.
Oh.
She's basically holding it. But I will say that both Ang and Dot can see that she has the rubbing clearly.
Is she holding it loosely, and can I swap it for a scrap of paper? A scrap of blank paper.
I would say she's holding the corner fairly tightly and with an irritated look. Basically, like she's like very strained annoyance.
Would she notice if I tore it?
I think she would, especially since there's this dwarven gentleman literally right here as well.
Dang. Well, I'm glad you're not letting me go ahead with this.
Yeah, you can try.
I mean, I thought his attention would be up here, considering the horrific shit going on.
I mean, it was, but then he's looking over to this lady. It's like, "Oh, doctor! Oh, right, yeah, you're a doctor. Could you come in here, please, ma'am?" And he's gesturing to this lady here.
If she's a doctor, then by all means, Tahu is injured. Are you all right, Tahu? You have not answered my question.
So, Dennis,
I'm so upset.
Can I hold on to that 26 until she's holding the paper, like, loosely or anything?
I would say this. She actually glances over to the two of you and just thrusts the paper at this guy here, and she steps in here to treat Tahu.
Thank goodness you're here, Doctor. I'm terribly sorry. This has been a most traumatic evening. My delicate sensibilities can't take it. And she looks over at the others and makes a big scene. She is trying to be distracting. And, given her nature and how dull she is, she's trying to drone on. The trauma, the peril, the breakage, the damage. Oh, it's too
Would
much
someone
to
please
bear.
get this out of here? She's not even looking at you. She's trying to focus on Tahu. What?
Oh, let me just gather my things. And then she gestures toward the paper that's been handed over. I need to gather everything. Do I have everything? Yes. The book. You will make sure it's delivered back to the town library, correct? I'll be sending a requisition letter.
That will be going through the professor, but I will be sure to let her know.
Yes, please. We've been looking for this for a while. It's listed in the requisition forms. Did you not get? Oh no. There's no way you would have received the requisition. Oh, it's too much for me to bear. Come on, everyone. Let's get you back to the tavern where you're safe. This is what I get for trying to be a responsible small business owner.
I was looking for that. Do you mind if I just take this off your hands real quick?
Give me persuasion with advantage.
Yes.
Because the poor dude has charisma with advantage. Sorry, because the
Yeah,
poor guy,
yeah.
he's a little overstimulated right now. He really needs that coffee.
That's what Dot's doing.
A
Plus, would
14, yeah.
there be points also because of the candy still?
Let me. Oh, I'm afraid he rolled a 15 on his insights.
Does he have disadvantage?
I was gonna say because Dot's making a scene, and also because of the candy, though. Wouldn't the candy have?
He does. He is overstimulated. I said that, and he's tired. Do you know what his other result was? A 1. Is that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, just keep hold of that. I'll try and get a thing. I need a drink.
She quickly passes it to Dot.
So for the record,
behind her apron.
While this is going on, the door to this library is open, and you can see the notes that this doctor was working on while she was studying.
Not to interrupt, but Dot is going to make a beeline for that.
So, okay.
Beeline.
All right then. So,
fast.
Zoom. So you are now in the other part of the library.
And she is going to gather. She's not going to look. She's taking them, stuffing them behind her apron, and getting out of there.
She's taking everything.
The notes that were left, specifically the doctor's notes.
Okay.
Yes. She's going to try to move. She's moving fast, and they're behind her apron.
I'm assuming Gang is going to be following.
That's not the exit. This is despicable. I need to be out of here. I'm so overwhelmed. Please let me pass. Let me pass. I need to get out of here. I need to go back. I need to be outside. This is too much.
Yeah, you are allowed outside. So, I would say while all that's going on, let's just switch things up a moment.
I can't help but point out, you found Tahu.
Yes.
And then you left him there.
She's trusting Seedie and Aang. She's pointing to Seedie and Aang. Actually, I was about to say when you afterwards, I was about to say that she points to Seedie and Aang like get Tahu. She doesn't say it, but she's mouthing it.
Yeah, of course. Seedie was going to stay behind anyway and wait for Tahu to come.
Figured, but if they were following, like it looked like on the map, she was going to do that. But if the Seedie's staying behind, she's like, get out of there fast. She is going to be heading back to the tavern. No stops.
So Seedie is actually remaining behind.
She is going to not go super all the way back to the tavern. She's heading back to the tavern. She's going to be doing the fast walk, then the slower walk, then the slower walk, trying to make sure that Seedie doesn't get stuck behind.
So you are leaving Seedie alone after having stolen those documents to grab
Not
Tahu.
alone, that's what I'm saying. She's going slower as she gets outside, but she's trying to get Seedie to come along, but get Tahu, bring him out. and then she's walking out quickly, getting to the foyer, and then slowing down.
Well,
She's
I
on
see.
her way back, but she's slowing down. I'm not changing what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to imply. I'm sorry if I'm not communicating it well, but the point is she's not going to abandon Seedie, but she wants to get the notes out so that she can dash them in case they're noticed. She's trying to get out of the building, but then like, I'm Seedie.
Is Seedie in good health? Oh, sorry, is Tahu in good health?
I would say this. The doctor like glances over your shoulders, like, oh, has that woman left? This individual needs some peace and quiet, and they also need a hospital. I can take them to my room at the outreach.
Maribel has the perfect facilities to get him back to health. Don't you worry. She's a very capable woman.
Her straight charisma. That's a 24. She glances over you and then gives you a looking down. All right, very well. I'll be. Where is this, Dots? I'll be over there shortly. I need to finish up my work first before I come down.
Well, she's just leaving right now. I can catch up with her if you like.
Well, I need to know where my patient is going, because I need to make sure that he is well. This is not. Look at this, and she gestures to the insane scripture on the wall that has been made in Tahu's own blood.
Yes.
Tahu's just staring at his hands.
Can you make sense of any of it?
She looks like she's about to say something, and then she looks. So Tahu's awake at this point.
Yes, panicked,
Right.
awake.
I'm just checking. Oh, yeah. Okay. She looks at you, Tahu, and again, she gets down on one knee. Basically, that whole thing where almost like a doctor shines a light in your eyes, but she gets very close to you. And she murmurs something in a language that you don't know, but it almost feels familiar.
Should I roll anything for that?
For you, Seedie, I would say a history with disadvantage.
I just take a roll to see if I recognize where I remember it from?
Yeah, for you, Tahu, history with advantage.
Yeah.
That, you don't know what it means, but that sounds like the voices.
Tahu, let's get you back. Let's get you back to the inn.
Do you feel like you can stand, my friend?
Please say Quay.
Quay. I'll shake my head. No.
I'm afraid that I will insist that he stays here. I'm going to get some of my associates to take him to the temple. Are you aware of the outreach?
Yes. In fact, I went there a few days ago with Icrius.
Ah, you know Icrius. I didn't realize he was still in the city. He helped me come here. Quite a useful fellow. Is he part of your group?
Yes, but he seems to have gone missing.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope he turns up soon. He's quite a handy person to have around, but in the meantime, I would appreciate it if you would allow me to take my patient to get some real care. Okay. Miss Seedie, was it?
That is correct.
Good to know.
All right.
Well,
you take good care of Tahu when he's back to full health. do send him our way again.
I shall indeed.
As for me, I shall have to depart.
Not a problem. And before you go, she takes your hand and, bows respectfully and kisses it. Dr. Lilius Nim, you can trust me. He's in the best possible hands.
Can I insight that? Because,
give me an insight check, sure. Yeah. Best possible hands. She seemed to be really invested in the way she delivered her name. You seem to think that would mean something, but no, you've never heard of it.
Oh, do I have advantage for insight, or is it just charisma?
That is just charisma. The nature of that particular spell / candy is charisma.
Good night. I look forward to hearing from Tahu. I look forward to hearing Tahu later in the day.
We'll deliver him to you as soon as we can. You have a good night. Okay.
Right. By the time Seedie's out of shot, she's gonna fast walk out of there.
I would like an intelligence check from Seedie. Just before you go.
Intelligence.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
why did you not know? This is what happens. This is what happens when I work with amateurs.
This is what happens when you don't communicate.
Was it the kiss?
Well, no, it wasn't the kiss. It's a kiss. No, it wasn't a kiss. The DM will tip his hand and explain that maybe the fact that you guys have stolen this woman's notes while being very loud and being the only other people in this building aside from associates, that might come back at some point.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
But in the meantime,
she's used to working with people who know what they're doing.
What did I do wrong?
You, Seedie, you folks didn't do anything wrong.
You not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, to be fair, you get basically, you guys are walking away with her notes. Mm-hmm. The intelligence check was to see if Seedie thought maybe we return those notes so she doesn't know that we took them, but
it's fine.
The DM will tip his hand and say it's all good. Everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine. Yeah. Oh, Dot has a plan.
Part to the library. Just throw a Molotov through the window.
No,
I will say
that is not how Dot works.
I will say, unless anybody has anything else they wish to do now, finally, the day is over. I'm going to need you to remind me, my dear.
I only have one question. It is for Dot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did Dot take anything of mine?
She took basically, I'll let you in on what Dot's thinking. She's mad. She wants to stick it to Gosling. Anyone who's at this place is a bad person. She's fucking with the place. She broke down a door. She saw an opportunity to take some notes and possibly learn something about the shady goings on there. She didn't give two craps about the stranger she doesn't know. She wants to look them over, see what they say. She plans on destroying them after.
Well, you took her notes, yes, but did
just
you take anything
notes,
of
but
mine?
If they were with her notes, then yes.
No.
But I don't know if they were with her notes.
I was just particularly asking if you took anything from the room I was in.
No. She walked in there with her boring, disinterested everybody not giving a shit about her and took her and then was like, to go. She's going to stash them unless she gets all three people out. She, I will confess, does not care about what happens to Tahu because Tahu is a traitor. And she's decided that Seedie's being honest and it's not a double bluff. So as long as she can get her three people out, she is going to go and book it back home. See what she can read from them, and then burn them up.
Oh God.
I will say this to close this particular scene out. Dr. Nim is going to, get down on one knee and look at Tahu closely now that they're alone. She's going to look around at the walls and look back to him, and then glance over at the rubbery book that has been left in the room.
I thought Dot took that as well.
No.
Oh no, she did not.
No, that's chained to the wall.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was particularly asking if you took any of my paper notes that I might have brought in with me for comparisons or anything like that.
Nope. She just saw an opportunity to fuck with this place, and she's doing it.
I'm gonna do my best to help you, my friend, but I'm going to need some honesty from you. How did you get put on this path? Is there
Tahu's a little out of it at this moment.
I mean, you do have a point of exhaustion.
Right, but...
And bleeding hands.
Yeah, right? Tahu's just gonna look at his hands and just repeat Kahaya and Icrius.
The eyes widen. Give me an insight. I know you have exhaustion. I will say a straight roll. 11. It's only a moment, and the face returns to that calm and collected, almost matronly, almost motherly look. There was a brief look of recognition and hunger in those eyes. Kahaya. That's an interesting term. And what do you know of that, Kahaya?
That's what I was in this room trying to figure out.
She looks around at the walls with a slight smile. Looks like you found something. Don't worry. We'll have a conversation and I'll put you on the right path. But I need a few assurances in return. She gives you a very friendly pat on the arm. I can trust you, can't I, Mr. Tahu?
Where?
She gives you a very toothy grin. Good. And I think we will leave that scene there. And unless anyone has anything they wish to do, the night that never ended has come to a close.
Yes, one more night to go.
2 nights, I think you'll find.
2 nights to go, yeah.
That's the thing. We didn't even get through one. We didn't even get through one night. We just spent this entire episode going through the dregs of the previous night.
Yes.
But we got things sorted.
You did. You did.
We got things sorted, and a whole bunch more fucked up things are going to happen.
I also have to mention that none of you fronted me about. None of you even you found me, you left me, and none of you fronted me or asked me anything.
We know better. You can't be trusted.
Well, technically I was passed out when you were trying to talk to me.
Oh, I don't think I realized that. Otherwise, it would have slightly changed it when she was like, "Please attend to him." She thought he was just like sitting there staring into space.
I had the little sleepy icon.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't tell.
To be fair, I couldn't exactly talk freely in front of you.
No.
Also,
the workaround will just be that Dot was trying to put on her show and didn't notice.
She and Seedie figured she wasn't gonna get anything out of you in your condition.
Yeah, we knew where you were. We're waiting outside. Well, Dot has run off to do something, which I told the GM about.
So, as is tradition, questions, comments, and theories.
Seedie is in trouble.
Potentially.
I'm in danger.
Oh, I felt this entire game.
Yeah.
I'm in
It was
danger.
nice.
I mean,
It was.
are we gonna have assassins after us in the freaking Underdark?
I mean, that would be a little bit difficult. You've got 2 whole days yet before you even get down to the relative
Yeah,
safety
there's
of the
plenty
Underdark.
of time.
Oh, plenty of
Also-
time for me to get assassinated.
Did Jurnis learn anything from her investigation?
Yes, before we actually end up, yes, while everyone was heading on out, let me just scroll back and see what the result of that was. I did ask you a 17. Yes. Would you like to explain what you were actually doing, Miss Springsinger?
After Dot left, Jurnis was basically sweet talking some of the staff to find out more about her. Like how genuine she was, how much of a front she seemed to put up. Basically getting the opinions of the people who work below her.
I would say this. The general air from the people who work there is Dot is a good employer. She's a little bit fussy, a little bit fastidious, a little bit... She's a bit of an asshole in some ways. You know, she's a little vain, a little... She has her way of doing things, and if you don't do it her way, it's going to be a big to-do, so you just have to figure out what it is that she wants, and, you know, she's got ridiculously high standards, and oh my gosh, sometimes it's so stressful, but she pays well. She takes very good care of the place. She's not one of those upper management types who just tells people what to do and just does her own thing. She gets stuck in. She is a hard worker. She is a very private woman. I would say with a 17, you're a little bit too... I would say you're one shy from learning any really deep and personal information. I would say the only other information that you got, Jurnis, is that she came to the city a certain number of years ago with a reasonable amount of money and was able to get dots set up pretty easily. She has never seemed to have any issue in regards to funding, and she is one of the most high quality establishments in the area, mainly due to the fact that she is always willing to spend top dollar on guest satisfaction. Would you say that's fair?
Fair. So no inklings on her previous relationship with Gosling or anything like that?
With a 17.
Can I make a suggestion, Devillo?
Yes, ma'am.
She has made no small secret of her contempt for Gosling and anyone Gosling has dealt with, and she has made it clear to her workers that anybody who does anything shady or underhanded is in a lot of trouble. If they bring contraband into the there's one, you know, as far as like, you know, what's her relationship like? She is strict about abuse of contraband. No drugs, drinking, or smoking by the staff during work hours. Anything that affects performance will get you fired. And if you bring in people of low character, as Doc calls it, low character is a phrase that they've heard lots of times, then that can get you in trouble. And that she seems pretty sincere about it and does not associate with shadier types of people at all. Like, even the thought of it is like, oh, no. And doesn't seem to be that part doesn't seem to be a front, that she's sincere. And also that in terms of her work ethic, she will do the job herself if she thinks you're doing it wrong and will not complain. She's not mad. She's not mad at her employees. She's just disappointed.
In that case, I will make one addendum to the information. Because Dot has gone out of her way to protest that much, with a 17, I will allow the fact that she does seem to have it out specifically for Lady Gosling. There does
And
seem to
how?
be some history there. Some people think that they might be angry exes, as in they had a relationship. Some people think that Gosling stole something from her. Some people think that the two of them had a bidding war or something before Dot came to the city, and Dot even came to the city just to cause trouble for Gosling.
Yep. That's all very much something that these staff know. All those things you just speculated.
Yes, my dear.
Typically in D&D, to cast magic, you have to chant the spell. Yes, like you have to like speak the spell.
It depends on the spell. There are vocal and somatic and material components in most spells.
So I was thinking, to beat Lady Gosling, I could use one of those silence grenades.
You absolutely could.
Okay, I'm gonna let the others know about those grenades.
Yes. I will say this. You mentioned the gun and everything. I will retcon things and say that you also would have mentioned the grenade of silence.
Yes.
I'll say I mentioned that's what I used to break into her office.
Yeah. So, with that additional information, is there anything that the players wish to comment on? It was a little bit of a all over the place episode, as ever. You know, it's all improv. I don't make plans because fuck plans. So, any theories about the revelations?
Oh, hell yes.
Well,
I want to know why Dot recognized those things myself, because I don't know why Dot recognized them.
Well, Skullface is now even more pissed off. This thing hasn't shown its face.
The thing is, you're assuming that you know what this thing is, and you're going down a very particular road in order to try and bring it out. Assumption, as they say, is the mother of all fuck-ups.
Oh, yeah.
But I will confirm there is a thing, and it's amused. As to your question, refresh my memory. You wanted to know how Dot recognized the book.
Yeah, you said the book. No, not the book. The symbols. You said that she found them familiar. So I'm like, where did she see them before? She's racking her brain. That's part of why she saw an open door with a bunch of notes in it with no context and said, "This is an evil lady because she's here." Maybe that'll have an answer. Read, burn, burn, burn.
I would say this. It wouldn't take you too long to remember. You saw the symbols in the same place you saw the book.
Oh, shit.
In the tower.
Oh, the tower. Oh, shit.
So, Tahu. Oh, very, very low rolls. I am so sorry about that, my friend. I am so sorry. However...
Oh, Monty, no.
Once again, it's like Mr. Tahu, the ladies' man. All these calm, sinister, borderline insane women, they just want to get to know you and teach you all of their secrets.
Really?
Dennis. Who is using who? Tahu seems to have his fingers in all sorts of pies right now.
Yeah.
This is true.
Oh,
it's like he is a bit of a mystery to me right now. I have to admit, because either he's just going along with everyone who tells him to tell him to do whatever, or he is tricking them, or trying to get as much information from every source possible. That's what I'm thinking.
The only thing I will say is he seems to be asking the right questions, and the right people are hearing. So, Dr. Nim's back. Yay!
Oh, and I'm sure she's going to love Dot.
On a burger, maybe. So, yeah.
Dot's been down this road before, and she's always come out smelling like a cow pie.
And in case it was glossed over before because of all the other lore dump information, we now have yet more layers peeled back from the origins of the Voarcel. Not only were the Senja and the Kihaya two ancient races or entities or whatever the heck you want to call them.
Fish.
Yeah, fish. Lots of fish. Apparently, the Aboleth came first. And the Aboleth hate both the Kihaya and the Senja equally. I'm sure that's not going to come up at some point. But unless anyone has any further questions, comments, theories?
I have a question, but I'll wait for the stream to end before asking.
Yes, I have some things that are after stream.
Sure. I hope everyone has enjoyed this further episode into the mad, deranged, improv, technically defunct, nightmarish chaos that is Dungeons and Dragons.
A world in disarray.
Heck yes. It's been a genuine pleasure as always. Next week, there's going to be potentially a slight change. We'll just see how things go. I, the DM, am going to be on a slightly different work schedule, which includes being up at working at 4 in the morning. So we will see if I have the mental brain power to do this for a couple of weeks like that. I'm going to do my best to see how things turn out. Basically, by, I would say, Tuesday, I'm going to know how much energy I have around about this time in order to run the show. So we will see what happens. But hopefully, we will be back next week. Until then, it is going to be a very good night from Aja, the dog. Who one day I'll have something for Dog. I promise.
Dog got a cookie.
Dog got a cookie.
A good cookie. Rich, creamy peanut butter and caramel frosting to hold it together.
The dog cookie arc has been the most gripping story arc yet.
In the meantime, Aja, let's just say he owes you many cuddles and back scratches.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That's going to be a very good night from Cream, the Kenku of Carcosa.
The Quay in yellow?
The Quay in yellow, I like that.
Oh, brilliant reference right there.
Thank you, thank you. That's going to be a good night from D, the minor minotaur of no real merit.
Whatsoever. Just don't mind me. I'm just walking away with your papers.
That's going to be a very good night from Frux, the Tabaxi, Sofaxi. I don't know. I can't alliterate.
Taxi who needs a taxi.
There you go.
I have no Paladin to protect me now.
Oh. But you do have a Minotaur Mama.
That is true.
That is going to be a very good night from Ang, the Kung Fu Kitty. Still recovering from his day of debauchery and a night of chaos.
Good night, everybody.
A very good night from Jurnis. We don't break deals. Spring Singer.
That sounded like a threat. But in the meantime, come on, Graz, how about we get that nasty taste out of your mouth?
This is canon. And last but very not least, a very good night to our dear Sephi. I am very, very angry, and I'm going to yell in the street, wolf.
War were declared.
Yeah. War on that post box. Good night, everybody.
Good
Night.